Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is part 1 of What If Naruto Was the Prince of Storms in My Little Pony. Before we begin, don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and also go and support the author, link in description. Canterlot, Castle, Throne Room. A female winged creature was silently looking outside the windows of the silent, empty room with an air of apprehension on her normally composed face, subtle trickles of sweat slowly falling from her forehead while thousands of scenarios played in her mind at blinding speed. She was known as Celestia, and she was now about to see what the two most daring gambles she had took 1,000 years before will translate into. One was about exiling her beloved sister, that had got corrupted years before and turned her into an evil entity renamed herself Nightmare Moon, that Celestia had banished on the very moon of her world, and another, more twisted in hindsight and that was now showing more downsides than Celestia herself could have imagined even in her darkest moments. And both are about to blow up on my face, she muttered with a sigh of defeat. In exactly a week the moon, stars and pretty much the whole universe will seemingly help Nightmare Moon in her escape from her confinement, and even if Celestia had slowly and painfully as well, since it went against everything she herself stood for, moved things so to have the reincarnations of the only thing able to truly help her sister to meet and purify her, the fact that the second victim of her 1,000-years-long countermeasures was also finally showing its restlessness was drawing the alicorn spare and worry. I am not even sure the elements of harmony will work on him. He is not driven by darkness, his rage will probably being justified by my literally tearing him away from what he thought was his home, his friends and family, even giving him back part of the memories those people erased had been source of further anger instead of peace. It's a wonder the barrier held for the entirety of those 3 months, Celestia muttered while looking towards one of the sealed chambers of the palace, a place where only her could enter. What she could not know was that the prisoner, inside the light-colored sphere of energy had not been trapped for 3 months, but had instead followed the suggestion of the secondary entity inside his body and used part of the memories Celestia had given him to understand how his new body worked, slowly, painfully recovering the control over his power that he used to have before getting forcefully took away. She had tried to give him memories of his youth and enough info about language and basic workings about his body and possible magic in hope that he could use that as a starting point to then learn the rest by himself. She couldn't imagine that a second mind could block those info, dissect them and keep only the fundamental parts, like the notion about using the newly formed horn on his forehead instead of his now hose-shaped hands to fight. Your Majesty, the special ship you asked for is ready, an armor-covered Pegasus said after entering the room. Good, tell the soldiers to vacate the area around us as instructed while flying at the accorded distance. I want only the bare minimum crew on board. The less people are around the treasure the better I will feel, Celestia answered, nodding. Anything dangerous? We can take that to Ponyville ourselves while you fly secure on the ship. No need to risk your life, Princess, the guard offered with a worried tone. Thank you for your offer, but it's my responsibility. I would have preferred leaving everything sealed in the vault, but I don't feel at ease being too far away from such a dangerous thing, the princess answered. Sorry the boldness, Your Highness, but wouldn't be better just destroying it if it is so dangerous? I am afraid that even if by far the most destructive thing I had ever seen, I can't simply destroy it. Thing that I fear is also near impossible even should I wish to, Celestia answered, sighing. I understand, sorry for my words, Princess, the guard said with a low bow. You are just worried, I won't hold it against you. Now go, we still have a lot to prepare, Celestia said with a gentle smile. Roger, the guard answered before disappearing from the room. Sigh, it's time to face the music, and the repercussions of my choices, the princess said before steeling herself and moving towards the imprisoned Pegasus. The next day, Ponyville, Library. Oh my gosh, it's already time. We are not ready yet. There is still the catering to organize. The decorations are still getting adjusted and a young, purple unicorn rambled in shock at seeing Celestia enter the room she was in. Twilight, calm down. I am here because I need a special brand of favor, one that I could not put on parchment and send you, something I had took care of personally but now requires further help. And I am forced to ask you as I can actually trust only you for this, the princess answered. Everything. Whatever you need. Twilight sparkle, personal student of the Alicorn Princess, answered immediately while standing to attention. It's a serious matter that requires maximum secrecy. Follow me, Celestia said before both disappeared in a flash of light. The two soon appeared in an empty room only containing the glowing sphere of energy holding inside Celestia's most foolish mistake, second only to her own sister's banishment. What is that, princess? The young girl asked. I call it, treasure, as it is, in its purest form and at its origins. What was at his birth? Celestia answered sighing. Sumponi is in there? Twilight asked curious. I'll tell you an old story, a sad one. Over 1,000 years ago there was a mother, the most pure, gentle of the mares, a beauty as pale as the moonlight and as gentle as the breeze of a night of summer. One day she fell in love with one of the guards that had swore to protect her with his own life, and even if their relationship was not frowned upon, the two still wanted to keep everything a secret, maybe as a sort of game, or maybe in fear that Sumponi would have something against them, Celestia said. Then, what happened? The young unicorn asked. From their union a young Pegasus was made. Even as a colt he was as brave as his father but as gentle as his mother, truly the fusion of both parents' best qualities. But then corruption took the mother, forcing a great power to separate the parents from the frilly. The young stallion had been once again returned to a state of infancy and cast away, so far that even the mother could not reach him and twisted into a new shape so that he could not be summoned or even recognized, and apparently with even the few memories his young mind had of his life here erased by the same people that swore to keep him safe. In a world of anger, war and constant tension he grew strong. Stronger than anything we had ever seen, and I have called him back, and imprisoned him in that sphere. Celestia answered. But, why? Twilight asked confused. He needed to return. I hoped he could help me resolving an ancient problem of our world, but I had not realized that I would have basically kidnapped. It's Ponanapped, sorry, the unicorn corrected her automatically before blushing. Excuses are not necessary as he had been turned into an human, they use the term, kidnap, in that case. And as I said, I didn't realize that I was taking him away from what he believed being his life to take him here. He had been rightfully furious, especially when I made another mistake in showing that he had basically lived a lie that lasted 20 years from his point of view. The alicorn said. Human. Like those creatures from legends? Twilight asked. They are real, but legends never described them as a belligerent race that unfortunately had never felt the power of harmony and friendship like we did and still do, or at least those he had lived with acted as such. The ones that raised him were by far the most powerful kind, and even if in that human body he had no access to his normal Pegasus powers, he had rose to the top to become the strongest, towering over everyone in strength and yet never losing that same gentleness and pure heart he had as a filly, Celestia answered. So he returned into being a Pegasus once you called him back. Exactly, I hoped that recovering his memories would have helped, but I was wrong. I need you to keep this sphere in check should something happen that would stop me from mounting guard on him. He is a young stallion as apparently the world I took him from had time working differently. That explains why after 1,000 years he is barely a young adult older than you. Can you do this, Twilight? Can you help me mounting guard and keep the secret? Not a single pony can know about him until I'll be sure he won't get revenge on every being that cross his path, Celestia asked. No, pleaded her student. Everything. You can count on me, princess. The young unicorn answered nodding. Good, I personally sealed this room and the ship as a whole. Only me and you will be able to enter while the others won't even register its existence. Now show me how things are progressing. I am actually curious about how this summer sun celebration will be like, the princess said with more calm smile. Right away. Please follow me, Your Highness, Twilight said while the two moved outside the room, sealing the entrance with a series of heavy metallic noises. Did you hear that? Someone spun some bullshit around so to appear crystal clean and smelling of roses, the prisoner thought with a sneer. Just wait until we will be sure you won't trip on your feet, hooves, whatever, then we will burst out and have the bitch learn what happens when you fuck up with people's lives. A second voice, this one deep and inhuman, echoed in the stallion's head. With pleasure, how long before I can return to my top form? He asked. If we are lucky, just a week. Here natural energy is even thicker than back home. but there is not even the slightest spark of chakra in those creatures, as I could not feel any. A little bit more patience and you will be able to do even the most complex technique with this horn of yours alone, the voice answered. Good, the sage mode and frog kata will be a little bit more difficult to adapt, but I never lacked imagination. I can't wait, the Pegasus answered smirking. Well said, Naruto, well said. We have a week to finish adapting the Rasengan and its variants to being horn generated along the remaining techniques we know, but the bitch luckily had the brilliant idea of giving us the basics of how to do their magic. Useless crap if you ask me. We will show them what real power is once out of here, Kurama, nine-tailed Biju, answered with a similar feral grin. A week later, Pavilion. Our dear beloved subjects, it has been so long since we have seen thou precious, little sun-loving faces, a female alicorn with the skin as dark as the moonless night said with a purring voice. As the cries of the ones present grew in volume with their calling for Celestia to show up, in the deepest recesses of the lonely airship hidden not too far away by layers upon layers of illusions, the sphere of light holding the Sun Princess's prisoner started sparking in energy. It's a solid barrier, that much I will admit, but still, just an annoyance, Naruto muttered as he closed his eyes to focus. Some negative emotions made their presence known. The sad thing is that by their standards whoever is here now must feel like a monster, but to us, I would barely classify it as angry kitten, and that with me being generous, this guy has nothing to Orochimaru or Madara. Kurama said snickering. But still, I can't feel that Celestia's presence as clearly as I did before, she must be pretty far away, the other answered. No chakra, but they have such an overabundance of spiritual energy that we can still sense them through the sage mode. The fact that natural energy here is more abundant also helps, just like following something underwater by tracking the ripples it leaves behind, the Biju said. All the better for me, I want to kick that woman's ass for what she did, then go back to Konoha, resurrect Sarutobi Gigi and my father and beat them into a paste. They should have told me, Naruto said while yelling the last part and actually making cracks appear on his prison. Calm down, we have a bad guy here to defeat, so use the bastard as a chew toy to burn out some steam, then we'll have all the time to have that horned horse pay for what she did, Kurama answered. Then let's break out and fight. I am tired to stay immobile like this, I need some action. The blonde said eagerly. Then summon the truth-seeking balls and eat through this light show, it's starting to hurt my eyes, the Biju said. You really like those, don't you? I'll never understand why, they are boring. Oh shut up, we have an OP ability and I pretend to see it used. Okay, let me put on the right dress, then, we are going to crush a party and we have to look our best. Naruto answered laughing as he opened his now yellow eyes while his body started transforming. Meanwhile, you sure you want to come with me? Twilight asked while watching royal guards getting through around by the powerful bolt of lightning launched by Nightmare Moon. You said that, girl. Those elements or whatever can stop her, that's not something one can do alone. A cyan Pegasus with rainbow-colored mane answered nodding. Dash is right, if ya have a way to stop that crazy horse then I'll help as well. A pony with a cow girl had added. Foals, no one will stop us. Our night shall last for. Whatever Nightmare Moon was about to say failed when both back legs of a mysterious Pegasus struck her face. Time itself seemed to briefly come to an halt as the helmet around the alicorn's head slowly deformed under the power of the attack while air rippled behind the mare. Then, as if a spring had been released, the dark alicorn went shot away as a blur, demolishing several houses and leaving behind a trail of destruction as she was sent flying all the way out of the small town and kicking up a cloud of dust of immense proportions. Damn, I guess I overdid a little, the strange figure said with a sheepish grin. He was a tall, imposing stallion with 3 strange markings on each cheek, wearing a strange bandana with a leaf engraved on it. His body was seemingly made of golden fire, forming a light-colored coat on his back and a dark-colored bodysuit underneath that covered his torso, reaching down to his front legs up to the hooves and then down to his back legs, this time stopping just above his hooves but also changing their color so to look like those two were made of the same fire-like energy of the cloak. The stranger was also sporting a light-colored circle on his abdomen as well as golden markings around his collar. On the back of the coat there was a strange marking of an eye, unknown to them that was indeed the symbol of the 6 paths senjutsu, a Rinnegan above 9 Magatama. Who are you? Twilight asked in surprise before she looked behind him and from where he came, thing that had her paling considerably once understood who he was. Name's Naruto. Nice to meet ya, the stallion answered while still looking at the deep gash Nightmare Moon left on the road with her tumbling. Why you are the prisoner? Why you are out? The purple unicorn asked. You okay, Twilight? Who is he? One of the other girls with her asked. Celestia was holding him sealed away in the hope of helping him reintegrate with Equestria after certain circumstances, but now he is out. Why now? She answered. Sensed some bad intentions and decided to help. Where is that woman that trapped me? The flaming stallion asked. Oh, I know that. She had been sent on the sun by that big dark meanie. The pink mare of the group answered with a cheerful voice. So she is dead? Naruto asked. No. She is certainly alive as her magic is attuned to the sun, Twilight answered. I see, how did we bring her back? I want to be the one kicking her ass, and I. Flank, the shy Pegasus muttered. What? If you had to be that rude, can you at least not curse? If it is not a problem, she replied while looking down. Not my style, if an ass it is, an ass I am going to call it, Naruto answered, making Dash snort at his serious expression. We need the elements of harmony to stop her, and me and the others were about to go retrieve them, Twilight said. Want me to keep her occupied then? He asked. Why would you help us? Because contrary to what Celestia thinks, I am actually one of the good guys. I just don't like being forced to leave behind my friends and home because apparently I was never told that I came from here, Naruto answered. I am sorry, Twilight said meekly. Were you the one that called me here? He asked. Well, no, she answered. Then why you apologies? I know who I am angry with, so I won't go around attacking random people, the stallion answered. Okay, we are wasting time. Can you hold her until we return? Rainbow Dash asked. Boy. I am a girl, she hissed angrily. Sorry, girl, I am completely different from whatever you have seen up until now, give me some credit, he said smirking. Thou are indeed different, Nightmare Moon growled as she reappeared above the group to show her bruised face twisted into a furious snarl. Took you long enough, princess. Did I give you boo-boo? Naruto asked amused. You insolent fool. Be gone, she answered while amassing storm clouds around herself and launching several bolts of lightning at him. Go take those elements. I'll buy you as much time as I can. He answered while disappearing in a burst of light and incredibly dodging each and every lightning bolt before head-butting the alicorn with enough strength to send both through several houses and making the terrain tremble from the impact. That was fast, Dash said with wide eyes before getting dragged away with the others. You are the most annoying, insufferable, miserable brute we ever had the misfortune to meet. Nightmare Moon hissed as her horn glowed white-hot in power from her rage alone. Thank you, I like to leave a good impression. It's a pity that I will only keep you occupied while the others bring here those elements or whatever, but at least I will make some exercise while we wait. I have been sealed for way too long for my tastes, Naruto answered chuckling. And you think you will be able to stop us? And with what kind of army? The alicorn asked smirking. Look, I'll tell you in terms that you will understand. I am a one-stallion army. Naruto answered. You fool, have you any idea how many times we saw young Pegasus and unicorns call themselves like that? It has lost its meaning nowadays, she said laughing. Wanna bet? To think we were going to take you. Taiju Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. Massive shadow clone technique, Naruto yelled as his horn flared up even more before thousands of clones of himself, all sporting the same flaming cloak, appeared around him. Seriously. Nightmare Moon squeaked as the horde of clones plus original rained on her from every possible direction. Sigh. We are starting to think that this was not an idea as good as we thought. She muttered sadly. Everfree Forest, with Twilight and the others. The small group was running, or in dash, case flying, as fast as they could towards the abandoned castle. The purple unicorn said the elements had been hidden in. We are almost there. Keep running, Twilight yelled. You think that he will really be able to distract her long enough? Rarity asked worried. From what I can tell you about it, Celestia called here a Pegasus that had been banished just like Nightmare Moon. The problem is that the place he had sent to was a world drowning in wars that turned him into an hardened warrior. He had apparently lost any memory about Equestria, and so now he may resent us for basically kidnapping him away from his home. He somehow gained friends in that violent place, and so he rightfully doesn't like this situation, but the princess was hoping to have him understand that his place is here and that he will be able to find new friends. Unfortunately, he got free before he could calm down enough to have us explain everything calmly, and now I don't know what to do. She answered as faraway echoes of explosions were still reaching them no matter how deep in the woods they were moving. The fact that he's helping us instead of that crazy mare is a good start though. Applejack answered. You heard him, he is a hero. Of course he will help us. Pinkie Pie added, smiling. I only know that Celestia defined him, the most destructive entity ever seen, and that she needed him for something. Maybe she hoped to use him against Nightmare Moon in case of emergency, or at least as a way to buy her, or in this case as time to use the elements of harmony, Twilight answered as a dense mist was slowly rising around them and rapidly getting always thicker. You silly fools. As if some pony could really stop us. Nightmare Moon's voice resounded around the small group, although an edge of exhaustion managed to slip through her tone. By how you talk it seems that he still managed to take a toll on you, Dash said with a challenging tone. Insolent. It was by mere luck that he managed to catch us by surprise. The disembodied voice replied angrily. You sure? As far as I remember it was you the one to turn into mist and run towards here. A male voice said in amusement. You, Nightmare Moon roared. And who else? The flaming stallion said from a tree branch. How did you find me? In this state I can sense your presence. You may not have chakra like me, but you all have such a ridiculous reserves of spiritual energy, that you people call magic, that I could still track you down. Satisfied. Naruto answered as part of the mist condensed back into the alicorn, showing how her body was covered in bruises while standing on shaking legs. You still need to defeat us. And as for now you still lack in power, you weakling. The alicorn spat furious before cringing at the glare she received in answer. I usually don't like to overdo, but I hate when people underestimate me, so for the next 3 minutes only I will show you the next step of my abilities, because remember, if I didn't use my full power up until now it was only because I don't want you dead. Get ready. He answered with narrowed eyes. Is that so? Thou think you can scare us with some bold claim. Show us then. Nightmare Moon answered. Really? Naruto asked, taken aback from her answer. Hoi, it's her funeral after all, show her my avatar form. I bet they never saw anything like that here. Kurama said with a feral smirk. Sigh. I hate when the bad guys go all, I can take everything you can dish out, it makes me feel bad to then beat them to dust. The flaming stallion said before his body seemingly exploded into a towering pillar of energy that then rapidly took the massive shape of Kurama's body along the 9 tails and rings around the eyes to accompany the skeleton-like lines on the rest of the body. The unicorns, Pegasus, Earth Pony and one alicorn present could only watch as the avatar of energy kept growing in size until it completely dwarfed the whole forest and the surrounding area before roaring with unmatched anger at a millimeter of Nightmare Moon's face. And while the girls were surprised by reflex at seeing that happen, the corrupted alicorn princess was showing all the signs of being extremely worried as her eyes were bulging wide open while the irises and pupils had visibly shrunken to the point of looking almost absent. What they didn't know though was that Nightmare Moon was also screaming inwardly as for some reason her voice kind of refused to come out of her open mouth. Are you satisfied, little horsey? My companion here may like to play nice, but I didn't. Kurama said using the avatar's mouth before one of his huge paws grabbed the still shocked alicorn to throw her back to Ponyville like a shrieking bullet and with enough strength to have her leave behind a sonic boom out of the sheer speed her body reached. Sorry for Kurama's antics, he is usually more calm. Go fetch those elements. If she wants me and him to get serious then she has to hope you will find them fast. My techniques are not made to be gentle, Naruto added before the huge 9-tailed fox made of energy sprinted towards the corrupted princess with a new deafening war cry. Okay. Twilight answered with a weak voice while ignoring Dash trying to revive the fainted Rarity and Fluttershy behind her. That's one hay of a talent, Sugar Cube, but what talent is that? Applejack asked while trailing in awe the amount of destruction the huge Biju avatar left behind just by moving. I honestly don't know, but let's move fast, because I fear there won't be enough Nightmare Moon for us to use the elements on otherwise, Twilight answered before the still shaking group renowned their efforts towards the elements of harmony. With Naruto. Is this more of your liking, princess? If I were you, I would stay still and wait for those pretty girls to help you with those elements, the stallion said from his place inside Kurama's spectral head. What are you? How can you do such things? Why did my sister left such an equine creature like you anywhere near Equestria? Nightmare Moon asked while still keeping distance from the enormous creature. No matter what she did, he didn't seem possible to stop or deter. He could break illusions faster than how she could cast them. Any spell she used was either dodged or countered by his clones or the spiraling spheres of energy he could summon on the tip of his horn. That if he didn't outright let it struck him and then get up as if nothing happened, and the huge body of energy he was piloting was apparently totally impervious to anything she threw at it through telekinesis no matter how big. Believe it or not, I originally came from here before she sent me away. Where I ended I had Kurama here sealed inside me, that had me gaining the ability to use and wield chakra, the energy everyone there had in their bodies. From there I just grew up becoming the strongest ever before she stupidly thought that I would have gladly left behind everything I had gained after breaking my back on a daily basis and risking my life to fight crazy bastards with dreams about world domination once bought here. I even fought against a veritable goddess and came out victorious. And now look at me. I am here fighting a tantrum-throwing flying horse that could not accept the fact that someone would sleep during the night. So do me a favor and drop whatever you are doing that is keeping Celestia on the sun so she can come here and send me back. The other answered. Never. I will be the only ruler of Equestria ever if it kills me. Nightmare Moon said while flying as high as she could above the stallion, deciding to focus all her power in a single attack and uncaring that it would probably cause Celestia to break free without a great deal of her magic holding the other alicorn exiled. She is trying something, can you feel it? Kurama asked. Yep, her last try. Should we show her that she really needs to stay put? Naruto asked back. I guess we really have to, just angle it a little higher, we don't need to kill her, the Biju answered nodding. Take this and disappear, you monster. Nightmare Moon yelled at the top of her lungs as a thick bolt of pure condensed darkness went shot from her horn towards Naruto. Sore loser. Bijudama Rasenshuriken. Naruto said while converting a truth-seeking ball into a tailed beast ball hovering on the tip of his horn and adding wind-natured chakra to create 4 shuriken-like blades around it before hurling it at the alicorn. The two attacks met briefly before the former shinobi's jutsu simply cut through Nightmare's attack, erasing it from existence, shocking the corrupted princess to the core that had only the time to summon a quick shield around herself before the jutsu flew above her. The resulting explosion completely engulfed her body, shooting her to the ground at breakneck speed and leaving her smoking, heavily bruised body in the middle of a huge crater, her armor almost completely gone and her back showing the most bruises and probably still holding wings only thanks to the armor she was wearing and that got atomized. You okay? Naruto asked after dropping the chakra avatar and nearing her with a short trot. Stay away. The exhausted, and surprisingly scared, Nightmare Moon shrieked while scampering away from the flaming stallion until her back was pressed against a wall. I angled it so it would not have touched you. As I said, my intention was about buying time for the others, not killing you, he answered with a sad smile. Why? If you hate Celestia you should have just left me do what I wanted. She would have suffered 1,000 years on the sun for her sins. She answered while leaning even closer to the wall at seeing him walk near her. You needed to be helped. Since those elements save you, then I decided to help. I would have hoped to do so without getting violent, but you were not hearing reasons, Naruto answered. We are here. We have the elements. Twilight yelled as she and the others reached the duo. It was not easy. That mare had left behind illusions and angry monsters to stop us, said in annoyance. Those poor animals were also forced to attack us. Fluttershy added. When did you do that? Naruto asked curious. During our strategic retreat. Nightmare Moon answered. You work fast, that's for sure, the flaming stallion said surprised. Thank you, she answered while a bit surprised by the sudden colloquial tone the monstrous Pegasus in front of her had started using. Can we use the elements, dear? I think Ponyville suffered enough from her attack, Rarity asked with a raised eyebrow while pointing with an hoof at the destruction surrounding the group. Most of that is my fault I fear, my jutsu are kind of destructive but I will help repair everything once done. A blushing Naruto said while stepping to the side. You better hope Ma farm is still intact or I'll buck ya as hard as I buck Ma trees. Applejack said with narrowed eyes. My attack shouldn't have touched it, I swear. The other replied while rising both hooves. What are you gonna do? Nightmare Moon asked with narrowed eyes. Use the elements of harmony on you and purify whatever had corrupted you, Twilight answered. And he will stop attacking us? She asked while stealing glances at the flaming Naruto near her. Yes, the purple unicorn answered uncertain. Then yes, please do so. This is our best side. Nightmare Moon answered with an happy smile while presenting her left cheek. I feel kind of offended. Naruto muttered pouting as a rainbow-colored ray of light engulfed the corrupted princess. That must be the most feminine-looking attack I had ever seen. I swear I felt my manliness drop a few points just by looking at it. Kurama muttered while shaking his head. Kurama, please. This is hardly the moment for jokes. We still need to find a way to return home. Naruto thought sighing. Once the blinding light died down, a new alicorn stood in place of Nightmare Moon, showing that the corruption had twisted more than just the princess's mind. She was now a tall indigo-colored pony with bright aqua eyes and large, feathered wings on either side of her. Black patches could be seen her hind legs under the white crescent moon marking on her flank. She was now wearing dull blue horse shoes, if that was the name of the thing, Naruto mused, and a bib-like piece of black cloth around her neck adorned by the same crescent moon insignia. Her mane was long, flowing even in wind's absence and sparkling just like if the stars in the sky were tangled in there. Well, that's a nice change, sorry for hurting you. But in my defense you were not yourself, Naruto offered with an apologetic tone. We would have preferred being saved in a less painful manner, yes, but we do appreciate the gesture all the same. We are Luna, Moon Princess and sister of Celestia, and you all, element bearers and warrior of light, have our deepest gratitude, Luna answered while painfully bowing to the two groups. Oh my gosh, a real princess thanked us. Pinky said with a wide smile. So those rocks are the elements. They don't look threatening, the flaming stallion said uncertain. Actually, those are just the former husks of the elements. Their true power now reside in the young ponies you have in front of you, a new voice said as Celestia finally reappeared in the middle of the group. Celestia, Luna said with a meek voice. It's all okay, sister. I am happy to see you return to your senses, the Sun Princess said while hugging her sister with happy tears streaming down her cheeks. I helped resolving your problem with your sister, now send me back. Naruto demanded with narrowed eyes. I am sorry, but this is not possible. Celestia had the time to say before the stallion reappeared in front of her with a withering glare on his face. What? He bellowed with enough force to kick up dust and crack the terrain behind the princess. The cough. The spell I used to turn you into an human and then back into a Pegasus can be used only once. Even if I send you back you would still remain in your current and true body, the princess answered after managing to bite down the high-pitched tone her voice momentarily took in surprise. Why it can be used only once? And why then you called me back? The stallion asked. It was an experimental ritual created by Starswirl. He theorized that with enough power an equestrian could be changed into another shape, but also added that any form different by something of our world could have put enough strain on the subject to kill them. I took a gamble into turning you into an human since they are creatures completely different from us in mind, body and spirit. It was by turning you into an alicorn and then sacrificing that particular transformation, using the resulting backlash of power to do it. But your body had to be turned into that of an human infant so to minimize the danger of killing you by using a smaller shape. Celestia answered. And you can't do that again. I survived the extraction of my Biju, a thing that usually kills the victim, and even his reintroduction in my seal. I am certain I will survive some magic trick of a long-horned, self-centered horse just like you. He hissed back. Listen, I am asking you to give Equestria a try. your life should have been here. It was by fear of Luna's corruption influencing you as well that I acted so recklessly, but I was desperate at the time and could not find another solution, the Sun Princess answered with a pleading tone. And Konoha, and my friends, the life I had fought so hard to have. I finally got them to acknowledge my existence, you egoistical bitch. Naruto yelled in fury. Hey, don't you dare, Twilight was about to say before freezing at the intense, furious glare she got from the stallion. What? He muttered with a throaty growl. Sigh. Listen, I know it's hard to accept, but this is your home, your world. Give us a chance and in exchange I will find a way for you to contact your friends back in that world, like that you won't leave them behind completely. Celestia offered. Why not giving me a way to go back? He asked again, this time with eyes filled by pain and loss, actually hurting the princess more than his rage had before. You would return as a Pegasus, I can't return you to an human body, it's too dangerous, she answered shaking her head. To the other's shock he just dropped down, crying silently and covering his head with his hooves. Hoi, you still have me, come on, brat. Say something, Kurama said in apprehension. It's all okay, they are your friends, they will understand and don't abandon you, you will still communicate with each other, is still something. Fluttershy said while nearing him and dropping down to be at eye level with him, her motherly side kicking in at seeing his despaired expression. I have lost everything, why? What do you want from me? Didn't I do enough? Can't I have a little peace to enjoy my life? To have a girl, a family? He muttered angrily. Who is he, sister? Why did we pawnap him from his home? You heard him, he had managed to get himself friends and probably a nice life, Luna asked confused. Because I wanted to reunite a mother with her son no matter what, and in my blind ignorance I did just that, uncaring of the damages I would have done to him, but in my defense, I never thought that he would have managed to have friends in such a violent place. I am sorry, Celestia said while helping Naruto to stand and even hugging him. I had a mother back in Konoha, and a father. A man that I now wish to strangle with my hands, or hooves or whatever. He answered. I am not putting this into discussion, but give your mother here a chance as well, she has every right as well as the woman that adopted you, Celestia answered as she stopped hugging him. And who is his mother? Luna asked. Well, you, sister. The Sun Princess said with a shy tone. Her. Both Naruto and Luna yelled at the same time while pointing at each other. Luna, he is the son you and Fierce Storm had 1,000 years ago. Maelstrom Knight, or just Maelstrom since his father always defined that name as a mouthful to say. Celestia said uncertain. Surprisingly, Naruto can be translated as Maelstrom in our language, so he had not exactly changed his name, she then added with a nervous laugh. A tense silence fell in the group as the shocked stallion dropped the sage mode to show a rust-colored fur with a yellow, and still spiky, mane. The mark on his flank was of 9 fox tails meeting with their white tip to form a spiral with a wide center. I even had his clothes resized by the best fashion designers of Canterlot, since he seemed to like those in the bandana. Celestia said trying to fill the awkward silence while pointing at the red with black flames jacket and the top half of the stallion's old orange and black jumpsuit he was wearing under it. He even had the pendant he won from Tsunade still around his neck. Princess Luna, are you feeling well? Twilight asked to the wide-eyed alicorn that was fixating Naruto with unblinking eyes, not that the shell-shocked stallion was sporting a different expression. Oh, I think I know that expression. Kurama muttered in horror at seeing Luna's face split into a wide grin. Maelstrom. The princess squealed as she pounced on Naruto to hug the life out of him while nuzzling her cheek on his and chanting his name, in pure happiness, wounds completely forgotten. Okay, what the fuck is happening here? The stallion finally asked as he recovered his voice. Canterlot, Castle, Throne Room, 3 days after the battle against Nightmare Moon. Celestia was suffering from the third headache of the week, all thanks to her sister Luna that wouldn't stop gushing on and on about how much of a stud her son was or how much proud of him she was for growing that strong. Not even the bandages covering most her body or the limp in her steps was deterring her from praising how well Maelstrom Knight had fought her when she was Nightmare Moon. Ooh, and that flaming mane of energy. Did I mention how studly and dashing he was while protecting Ponyville? Because he was. Luna asked with a wide smile. Yes you did. 5 times already. Celestia yelled as even her legendary self-control couldn't take it anymore. Something wrong, sister? The Moon Princess asked. Luna, dear sister, I understand that you think the world of your son, no matter how badly he had injured you in that fight. He was just trying to save his mommy, nothing worthy of an headache as those are only minor bruises, Luna said unconcerned. The fact that she could so calmly ignore wounds that would have had any other seasoned pony, soldier or alicorn alike fall over and scream in utter agony just because her son had been the cause of them had been already registered as a medical miracle worth of study. That aside, Celestia growled. I would be more worried about the fact that he has still to speak a word ever since we took him back here, that and the fact that he refuses to eat in favor to just meditate. And I fear he is planning something to escape, the Sun Princess then said. Why would he? I am here now and can be his mother once again, we will be able to fly together, I will be able to teach him how to one day take my place with the rising of the moon. Why would he leave now that we are back into being a family? Luna asked back dumbfounded. Luna, this was said with as much calmness and as slowly as Celestia could. Yes. We took him away from the life he believed was his own. From his friends, from a girl he apparently wished to date. She was a peasant, not worthy of him, Luna said with a grimace. Listen to what I say. Celestia roared while opening her wings wide for added effect. And what do you want to say? Let's hear, Luna yelled back. He will try his darn best to run away and return to that world, pony or not, Pegasus or not, nothing and no pony will stop him. He will try to go there no matter what we say or do. And you can be certain that should we decide to force the issue he will do everything in his power to make sure we will regret that choice. And you saw him first hoof, he can be devastating when he wants to, and if we show ourselves as being the only thing stopping him from returning home he will unleash all his power on us. And unless we both banish him on the moon I fear he will give us one of our greatest battles, that if even the moon banishment will be able to stop him as I fear that very few things can, Celestia said while looking inside Luna's eyes with her hardest stare. Be you but I am his mother. Why would he leave me? We can be a family now. The other asked with horrified eyes, royal tone forgotten as it was a too serious matter for her to remember the lesson she and her sister took in their younger days. He doesn't remember your being his mother, as he told us time and time again. To him his mother had always been named Kushina, even showing him once again your memories of the few years you, Storm and him had been able to spend together had been useless. He refused everything and answered with the memories he has of Konoha and the people he met in there. The son Alicorn answered with a sad tone. But why? Why did they erase his memories? Just to give to that human a son when she couldn't have one of her own? Luna demanded with watering eyes. In hindsight, they did the right thing. Had he remembered being a pony he would have had problems adjusting to his human body, but you can see the results. Even by restarting as a blank slate, his experiences in there, his friends, his every action ever since he appeared in that world as an infant had shaped him into a kind soul. The few memories of his adoptive parents and other parental figures in his life like that, Jiraiya, and Hiruzen, had taught him the value of hard work, of compassion and camaraderie. They showed him how to fight for what's right and to help the more weak and protect the innocents. They didn't just give him to some random human, they made sure he could develop into a respectable human, and they did. You can't deny that even if now he has an human mind inside the body of a winged unicorn he is no different from any other pony of Equestria. Celestia answered. But he doesn't see me as his mother. Luna screamed strongly enough to have the windows rattle and scare her sister. He doesn't look at me with eyes filled with the love a filly should have. He doesn't come to me to get comforted whenever sad. He doesn't acknowledge the bond we share ever since I delivered him to this world. He doesn't even call me mother, with conviction or love. She then said. And that is one of my many regrets, sister, moving you two aside is showing more downsides than what I wished to believe possible, Celestia muttered in answer with her head lowered down. Then why you didn't send him with me on the moon? Why? I had already lost the stallion I loved in the war against the Griffins, why you had to take my son away as well? The Moon Princess asked with a broken voice. I feared that should he have come with you your own corruption would have slowly affected him as well. I couldn't even keep him here. By the time of your return time itself would have killed him, And had he become an alicorn, then his own grief for losing you would have had him go nightmare just to force me to free you. I had no other choice than send him elsewhere where time flowed differently, so that by the time of your return not long would have passed for him, like that you two would have been able to stay together. I didn't expect all this to turn into a huge mess, the Sun Princess answered. Then maybe you should have sent him with me, at least like that even in the cold pits of corruption we would have stayed together, and he would have called me mother with all the affection and attachment he now denies me. Luna answered sobbing. Sister, stop speaking nonsense and let's try again. He is letting himself dying while trying to return to a place that will never again accept him. They are humans and he is an unicorn. Exception made for his friends, no pony else will accept him there for what he is. We need to help him understand this before it is too late and he see his former world turn its back to him, Celestia said pleadingly. I won't let them do that. I will make their moon crash on their pitiful world should they hurt him. The other said with as much rage she could fit in her voice. Now calm down, he is probably in the gardens, so it's there we will find him. Okay, I can do this, Luna answered nodding. You need to rest, Celestia said. No, I need my son to recognize me. Nothing else matters, she answered. Gardens, few minutes later. Silently making their way to the gardens of the castle, the two princesses decided to stay hidden in the shadows and silently observe the blonde stallion sitting with closed eyes in the middle of the grass, sometimes muttering something under his breath and nodding. What is he saying? Luna asked, whispering. It's the language of the world I had sent him to. He is muttering about being almost there. He is planning something, Celestia said before going wide-eyed. Maelstrom. The Moon Princess immediately yelled while showing herself to the shocked unicorn. I am sorry. I can't stay here. I just can't. Naruto replied with haunted eyes that horrified the alicorn. But why? Why you want to leave me? Luna asked in despair. My place is not here. What am I supposed to do? I am a shinobi, a ninja. My whole life was about protecting Konoha and my friends. I dreamed to become Hokage and be able to protect my precious people. I want to go home, he answered while shaking his head. But you are at home. Here, with me, Luna replied while slowly walking closer to him. I am not one for royalty, I am by any means a mercenary, I will never be able to find myself at ease with being a noble. The blonde stallion answered. I can always talk the royal guards into testing if you could be a good soldier. It would be similar to what you did in Konoha, protect the innocents and your precious friends, just here instead of in Konoha. Celestia offered. You would be perfect for that. You have your own brand of training, there wouldn't even be questions about they accepting you because you are my son, since every pony would see what you are capable of. Luna added with an eager nod, already imagining having the armor-clad stallion as part of her personal guards so to have him as close as possible. I am sorry. I just can't. The shinobi replied by biting one of his front legs as strongly as he could to draw blood before smearing it on his hooves. What are you doing? Luna screamed with wide eyes. I am going home, I have found a way. Kuchiyose no jutsu. Summoning technique, he said as from the point where he slammed his hooves a complex circle of strange markings appeared, soon followed by a huge cloud of smoke. This chakra signature. Naruto. A booming voice yelled in a mixture of surprise and relief. Gamabunta. I am so happy to see that my plan worked. I'll explain later, but now I need you to take me to Mount Myoboku. Naruto said with a relieved smile as a huge creature appeared in front of him and that he soon climbed until staying on its nose. Gamabunta was a dull rusty red-colored huge toad with around his eyes and on his lips and chest brighter red markings and a scar over his left eye. On his tongue he had a series of stud-like piercings on both the upper and lower side. He was wearing a large blue happy vest with the kanji for Ebi on the back and carries a massive blade at his hip. What the hell happened? You are an horse, with wings. The summon said in shock, almost dropping the large pipe he was smoking from. It's complicated, now just do as I asked and take me to the mount, I'll explain everything once there. The stallion pleaded, his tone alone convincing the toad boss to comply with the request. Stop! Luna screamed in horror as her own power circled around Gamabunta's feet to stop him. Guards! Celestia yelled before adding her own magic into stopping the toad boss. In an instant several armored Pegasus and unicorns surrounded the princesses while keeping distance from the summon. That tickles, what are you trying to do? Gamabunta asked amused. You won't take him away. Luna roared in fury. The creature is trying to take away Prince Maelstrom, please help us. Celestia pleaded. Roger. The dozen of guards yelled at the same time as their own horns flared to life while the flying components of the squads rapidly circled the Toad boss. So you are the bastards that kidnapped him. And you even turned him into one of you, guys, you are in deep shit, just so you know. Gamabunta growled with narrowed eyes, whatever he said rapidly translated by Celestia so that the others could understand and vice versa. You fool, we will never leave the son of one of our beloved princesses get kidnapped without fighting. Soldier, have everyone focus restraining spells on the Toad, the prince must get out unscathed. One of the soldiers, a captain, at the head of the Pegasus unit said. Roger, sir, the other replied immediately. Please Maelstrom, please don't leave me, I can't lose you too. Luna pleaded. I am sorry, give me some oil, Gamabunta. Naruto answered with a sad sigh while his horn lightened up and he opened his mouth wide. I'll take you home even if it kills me, boy. Trust me, the Toad boss said as his belly inflated to huge proportions. Scatter. Celestia yelled with wide eyes as soon as she saw fire mounting in Naruto's mouth. Collaboration Jutsu, GAMAYU Enden. Toad oil flame bullet. Both Stallion and Toad yelled at the same time, the summon spitting out a veritable river of oil and the other using the short blast of sparks he had spat out to turn it into a wide wave of fire. Shields up. One of the guards yelled as immediately every pony present able to wield magic, aided by the two princesses, collaborated into rising a strong enough barrier to stop the fire from roasting them and damaging gardens and castle, but once smoke and flames disappeared there was no trace of either summon or summoner. He is gone, Celestia said with wide eyes. Maelstrom, no, Luna muttered before collapsing from the shock. Luna. The Sun Princess screamed in horror while trying to reanimate the fainted alicorn. Mount Myoboku, isolated area. In a powerful explosion of smoke Gamabunta reappeared in the sacred mountain of the Toad summoning clan, the current boss scanning the area until he nodded satisfied. No one's near, you can come out. He said. I am here, I am home, Naruto said with a smile towing the broken, and actually scaring Gamabunta. Yes you are. Listen, I have a small errand that needs my attention, I won't tell anyone you called me nor that you are here, no one usually comes here so you'll have some peace. Just wait for me and we will talk a little, okay? The summon said with his most calm smile. But you'll be back soon, right? He asked in worry. Of course I will, Gaki. Who the hell do you think you are talking with? I still consider you a friend, Gamabunta answered smirking. Thank you, the stallion said. Now relax and enjoy being home, I'll be back soon. The summon said before calmly jumping away. Okay, Naruto answered before drifting asleep under a huge leaf with a serene smile on his face. Not far away. Pops, what happened? You got summoned all of a sudden. A new guy signed our contract. Another massive Toad asked curious. No, it was Naruto. I managed to take him here, the boss answered. What? He is here. You saved him, Pops. Gamakichi, the son of the Toad boss, said with a wide smile. Wait, there is a problem, he is not okay and needs our help. Gamabunta said while barely grabbing his son in time. Problem? What problem? What happened to him? The younger Toad asked immediately. Have someone fetch Tsunade. Kakashi too, we need people he can trust, he is not okay and needs our help, the Toad boss said. Them. Here. Trust me, we need them here. I am not good in this kind of situations, while you take those two I'll go looking for Ma and Pa as well, Gamabunta answered with a worried tone. I'll go right away, Gamakichi said nodding before moving towards the elder Toad so to have him, emergency summoned, in the elemental countries. Meanwhile, Canterlot. We have found traces of the ritual. One of the unicorns tasked with the studying of the area said in relief. Can you reverse engineer it? Celestia asked. We are trying to re-establish the connection, but we need time, the unicorn answered looking down. Do it, we need to call him back. How is Luna? The sun alicorn said. She is still crying, princess, but at least she is more calm, Twilight Sparkle answered. I don't understand why he's doing this, Applejack said while shaking her head. I studied the ritual of Starswirl. Princess Celestia turned him into a full-fledged human, mind comprised, and the humans in that world had the right idea in erasing his memories to nothing, since otherwise he would have had problems recognizing his new body as his own. But when she called him back here, she had left his mind as it was, prompting his brain to finally register that he has no longer an human body. During his fight with Nightmare Moon, he had been only focused on stopping her and talked to Celestia, but as soon as things calmed down, his ignored issues came back. Now he is just scared. The purple unicorn answered. Scared? Rainbow Dash said with furrowed brows. He can't recognize himself. He has started having doubts about his staying here in Equestria, and he now fears rejection from his old friends. He probably believes that he has nowhere to go and no pony to talk to that he can trust. He is desperate, and so he is not thinking rationally, Twilight explained. That creature he summoned must be one of his friends. Hearing him promise help and a place to stay in his old world was more than enough to have Maelstrom latch into it and go away, Celestia added in realization. Darn, that sounds bad. A young purple dragon said with raised eyebrows. I fear that it may become even worse than that, Spikoran, the Sun Princess answered. We will help him, we just need to have him understand that he is not alone nor unwanted, Fluttershy replied. What if we use the elements of harmony? Rarity asked. I don't know if they would work in this case. The darkness that is clinging to his heart is of his own creation, but it still has to corrupt him completely, so I am not certain. Celestia answered. Can we help in some way, Princess? Twilight asked. That is in fact the reason why I called you all here. Me and Luna are going to use the same method Maelstrom used to reach him, but we'll need the element of magic along the other elements to back up our magic, so to send us and then call us back as soon as we have found him. Can you help us? The princess answered. We'll do our best, Princess. And if the boy keep acting like that, I will personally drag him by that horn of his. Applejack answered. He is just scared, Applejack. I will help as well, Fluttershy added. I still have to throw him a welcome new friend party. Of course I will help that silly stallion. Pinkie Pie said, smiling wide. A friend? Luna asked while joining the scene with her eyes still red from her recent crying fit. Of course, everyone needs friends, so why not him as well? The pink pony answered. He helped us by keeping you occupied while we recovered the elements. It's only fair that we return the favor by snapping him out of his self-pity, Rarity said. You can count on us, Princess Luna. We'll help you bring the prince back. Twilight added. Thank you. Thank you. Everything you want is yours. Just help me recover my son. Luna answered with a grateful smile. Just take him back, it's all we ask. He is one of us and I think he can be a nice pony once softened him enough, he only needs to enjoy life more. Dash answered. We have a thread. It's a weak link, but we should be able to enlarge it into a portal thanks to the elements, but we have to be cautious, it's a one-time deal, any mistake and we won't have a second chance. But we can now start working on it at least. The unicorn said. Good. Let's go help them, sister. We have your wayward son to recover, Celestia said. Okay. I am gonna ground him for 1,000 years once we are done. Luna answered. That's the spirit. Mount Myoboku, some time later. Tsunade was rapidly marching through the path towards the disappeared Naruto with a deep scowl on her face. She was aware that having her and Kakashi enter in that realm without first signing the Toad summoning contract was unheard of, but what she did understand was the magnitude of the problem being great enough to bend the rules enough for this to happen. You don't actually believe that thing about him being an horse, right? Kakashi, back in his Junin robes, asked. I saw a light engulf my godson to drag him away and a shape of something scarily resembling a winged horse grab him. As for now, my suspension of disbelief is on strike, so I am open to every possibility. I just want him back. The woman answered. Good. I thought I was the only one, let's go. The masked Shinoi answered as both quickened their pace. Why dressing like the time you were his Genin team sensei? She asked. For the same reason you are wearing your green coat. As Gamabunta said, he is under shock, so he needs something familiar to latch onto so to stay calm. I even have a copy of Ika Ika with me, the other answered. You always have a copy of that with you, Tsunade said smirking. Yes, but this is the same issue I was reading when I gave my belt test to Team 7. Good thinking. SSSSH. Be quiet, Gamakichi whispered with a glare before slightly lifting a leaf to show Naruto calmly talking with the two Toads Ma and Pa. Well, exception made for the horn, I find you well, Naruto boy. Pa said with a cheerful tone. Always said that you were strong as an horse for someone your age, turns out I was right. Ah, Ma added smirking. That's not funny, I look like something out of a toy store, Naruto replied pouting. But I guess you would have a great success with girls like that, Pa answered chuckling. Please, Pa, don't talk like Ero Sennin. As if a girl would not run away screaming once seeing that I am a talking horse, the blonde stallion answered shaking his head. I find you cute instead, Naruto. Tsunade said as she and Kakashi slowly walked out of their hiding spot. BB Bachan, the other yelled with wide eyes. Yo, Naruto. Decided to change look without telling me. I thought that you would have gone for the orange though, was it taken? Kakashi said with an eye smile while internally cringing at the fear he could read in his former student's eyes. I am not. The stallion stammered while slowly backing away, he was also looking around for possible escape routes. It's okay, I am here now. I am not afraid, disgusted or angry. I just want to talk, Tsunade offered with a calm voice and raised hands. You shouldn't have known about this. I asked only this to Gamabunta. He said before spinning in place to run away. Bring your sorry ass here brat before I turn you into a paste. Sensing the danger of losing him, the woman changed tactic and used the same tone of when the blonde shinobi in front of her used to joke once too many about her real age. That stopped Naruto mid-run. It was something he recognized, something he knew was normal, and was something Tsunade could use to convince him that everything was fine, that nothing between them had changed. Come here, let's talk a little, Kakashi offered while sitting on the ground and patting the spot next to him. Oh okay, Naruto muttered while slowly, almost painfully on his part, he walked near his old sensei to sit next to him and flinching when the silver-haired man patted him on the head. See, was it as hard as mastering the Rasengan? I don't think so, the masked shinobi said while flipping open his book to read, or at least pretend to. Okay, Naruto. Me and Kakashi can help you, but you need to tell me the whole story. The others too are beside themselves in worry. Even Sasuke is twitchy and wants to know what happened to you. Of course he tried to play it cool, but we know he is just as worried as the others if not more, Tsunade said while sitting at the stallion's other side. He snorted at the part about Sasuke, that was a good sign in both shinobi's book. Konoha, main gate, the next day. He is close, I can sense him. Luna said as soon as the portal opened above the village. Let's be calm though, we risk having them attack us if we act recklessly, Celestia answered. I think they already know that we are here, the moon alicorn said while pointing with an hoof at an human riding a huge dog that had sprinted away as soon as he had spotted them. Naturally born warriors, trained ever since their birth. Of course their senses are sharp. The Sun Princess said as an human wearing an hood used a black cloud of bugs to point in an isolated location before signaling them to follow. We are getting closer, Maelstrom must have told them about us and were expecting our arrival, Luna said with narrowed eyes. Following the hooded human, the two alicorn princess could see more and more humans joining the run by jumping from a rooftop to the other, idly surprising the two sisters with the speed and elegance that could do that with. His friends, Celestia muttered as a pale-skinned boy flew near them thanks to an ink-made bird. So many, Luna whispered in wonder as a red-haired human joined them up in the sky by running up a demonic-looking arm made of sand and angling it so to jog at their other side, neither human sparing even a glance at the alicorn sisters. Soon the group reached a small clearing surrounded by trees. In its middle they could see Naruto sitting on the ground while talking with a pink-haired female human, a pale-eyed female human and a male with raven-colored hair. As soon as the two princesses touched ground, the near shadows sprang to life, latching to theirs and incredibly climbing their body until a claw of shadows grabbed their neck. At the same time a boy with chubby cheeks grew to huge proportions and stepped between them and the stallion while another with a bowl haircut removed several iron bars from his arms and legs, each one of the little objects creating craters as he threw them away. As the two sisters tried to understand what happened they could feel a strange presence settle in the back of their minds coming from a blonde human girl glaring at both, the pale-eyed girl and a second younger one moving in front of Naruto with the veins around their eyes bulging out. Cage main completed, Hokage-sama, Shikamaru said from his kneeling position. Ready to squash them if I need to. Choji said nodding. Yosh. Ready to defend our friend, I won't hold back. Rock Lee added. I am ready, if they try anything I will shut down their brain. Ino said. You may not have chakra, but we can still disable your muscles, right Hanabi? Hinata said. Right, Oni-sama, the younger Hyuga replied. HN, so you find funny kidnapping people and turning them into an horse. Well, I don't instead. Sasuke said as he summoned the towering form of his Susanoo. You want him? Then you'll have to step on my corpse. Sakura said while punching the ground strong enough to seemingly shock the whole village. Congratulations, you just made yourself an enemy of both Konoha and Suna along Spring, Wave, Kumo and several other minor villages. I hope you are proud of yourself, Gaara said with a cold voice as he and his siblings prepared their respective weapons. The dude is our friend, like hell I am gonna let some pastel-colored horse take him away. Kiba said with Akamaru near him growling at the two alicorns. I suggest you to not try anything funny, why? Because we won't be kind in our answer, Shino added with a nod. All of you, don't care about his being a winged unicorn. Luna asked in disbelief while momentarily wondering if the spell Celestia used to teach her the language was filing and translating properly. What can I say? I always wanted to meet an unicorn, and now I can. Thanks to you, Ino said smirking. He is kind of cute now, didn't like how he looked before, it's an improvement, Hanabi said with a shrug while ignoring Hinata's glare. Yosh, I don't care what form he takes, he still is our greatest knucklehead friend and we will help him if he needs us. Lee said with a, nice guy, pose and pinning teeth. Okay, I didn't need to see that, Celestia muttered shivering. But he is my son. I just want him back home. Luna answered with a sad tone. Then you should have firstly approached him to explain the situation instead of forcing him into this. Just kidnapping him to turn him into one of us was just as wrong as you could get, Gaara answered with narrowed eyes. It is my fault, I wanted my sister back and was ready to use any means necessary to reach that goal, she is innocent, Celestia admitted. Yeah, we know that, we are savages, brutes and all that crap so you thought he would have been happy to go back and yada, Kankuro said mockingly. Can you blame me? You people don't know the power of harmony or friendship. The Sun Princess said. I beg to differ, had that be true, all of us wouldn't be here ready to destroy you just to defend the dobe behind me, Sasuke answered. Hoi, don't you dare call my son like that. Luna yelled enraged. It's an affectionate nickname by now, calm your feathers before I use you to refill my pillow, the Uchiha boy replied sneering. Since when that's a nickname? I always mean it when I call you a bastard. Naruto said. Correction, take him away, I already regret him being back, Sasuke said. Love you too, the stallion said sarcastically. He seems happy, Celestia muttered. I don't care, I have already lost his father. I can't lose him too. The Moon Princess yelled before shocking the others and breaking free long enough to pounce on Naruto and hug him, burying her face on his shoulder to openly cry while hugging him. Stand back, now. Sakura ordered while overcharging her fists in chakra until they shone in a flaming aura of energy. No, please, no, don't take him away from me, please, please. The alicorn pleaded while clinging to her son harder and harder, shamelessly sobbing and hiccuping while shaking her head. Bachan, Naruto asked with a worried voice, unable to think about a solution. Step down, we'll try to resolve this pacifically, Kakashi said. Thank you, Celestia answered. Don't, we are doing this for him, not you. Tsunade said while marching towards Naruto to sit near him. I don't want to leave you. The blonde stallion muttered. And you won't, the woman replied smiling. But, Pete, please don't take him away, I just want an occasion to have him back with me. Luna said. My mother is Kushina, Naruto muttered. They discovered your being not human once dead, but they didn't care, they loved you all the same, and were actually grateful for the occasion of raising you as their own, Tsunade answered. How? During that mass revival of dead, Minato had met Kakashi and thanked him for training you and keeping an eye on his son. That's how he defined you, his son. To him, being an human or being an unicorn or whatever was not important. He had decided by himself to take you in and never regretted it, the woman answered. Minato-sensei told me that he was sorry for your mother, well, Luna-san here, but also that he thanked the heavens that gave him an occasion to be a father, even if because of Obito's dark moment that had not lasted long, he never regretted a single moment. And if he said that, you can be damn sure that Kushina too had been happy to call you son and is proud of you even now, Kakashi added. What now, then? Naruto asked. I fear that outside us not everyone will be as understanding about your being an unicorn, Tsunade said. But. Let me finish, brat. The woman bellowed. Sorry, Ba-chan, he muttered. God, if I missed you calling me like that. What I meant is, while not everyone will understand, the ones in here plus few others are not bothered by it, she said. Well, I can find it bothering. Being defeated by a pony is an hard hit to my pride, Kiba said with a barely restrained smirk. If you put it like that. I am not feeling good myself at the idea of having lost to an horse, Sasuke added. Ignoring the two idiots that I will beat within an inch of their lives once we have done. I want you to remember each and every one of us whenever you feel sad in, what was that place called? Tsunade said. Equestria, Celestia offered. That. What? Everyone yelled. Listen, it's clear that some people may try to capture Naruto to try and use him or study him. Bastards like Orochimaru are always around, so I think we can let him live with Luna-san here, but. The former Hokage said while rising in hand to stop the flood of screams from the others. Let me finish. While he stays in, there, he will write us every day, twice a day, and will be able to come back here via summons at least once a week to spend some time with us. And I think we may feel free to ask for his help in case of emergency where we need our overpowered friend, she said. I am not overpowered. Naruto said, pouting, making Luna smile at his expression. Dobi, you are ridiculously overpowered. I think people change the meaning of op after you pass by, Sasuke said. So I'll be what, exactly? The stallion asked. Well, you wanted to be important. Then congratulations. You are the official ambassador of Konoha to EQEQU. Kakashi said. Equestria. Celestia said, sighing. That place. The masked shinobi said with an eye smile that made the Sun Princess grumble in annoyance. Same goes for Suna. If we are lucky we will be able to exchange some of our ores with those people in exchange of some rare wealth, Gaara said, nodding. Well, I think it may be done. Celestia said in surprise. So I'll stay with them. Naruto asked. You are staying with both, brat. You now have two homes, one in Konoha, Suna, and one with those ponies. I think it is a good way to make everyone happy, Tsunade answered. Not even by living in a different planet, there is no way of getting rid of you. I guess we are stuck with you, Hanabi said, smirking. That is not a nice thing to say, and I was about to have a romantic story with him. Why can't I have an happy ending with him? One where I would hug him, then he would hug me back and then take off his pants and. Hinata answered before moving through a long rant the others soon cut off from their ears. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Luna kept repeating with an happy smile. But remember, Tsunade said before surprising everyone by grabbing the alicorn's horn to twist her face around so to better glare at her with enough strength to have lesser being reach spontaneous combustion. 2 letters a day, every day, no matter if in order to fill them he has to tell me what he had for breakfast. I want to know he is okay. And we all know how he acts, thinks and speaks, and will check every little comma of every letter. At the very first signal that you are brainwashing him or worse, I will personally reach your world and force you two to watch as I personally burn it to the ground. Clear, she said, roaring. Yes, Luna and Celestia squeaked while nodding rapidly. Oh, and don't forget, I want him free to come pay us a visit whenever he can. Once a week would be perfect, thank you. Tsunade then said, switching back to her most gentle smile before letting the princess go to return with the others. She is scary, Luna muttered. You have no idea, Naruto said, nodding. Hoi, I don't know them, but I want a way to have you still in my life, the woman said. Okay, Ba-chan, okay, we got it, Naruto said. Good. Will you really come back home? With me? Luna asked with wide eyes. Sigh. I guess I will. Can I still consider Minato and Kushina my parents as well? You can't ask me to forget them, he answered. And what about me? The Moon Princess asked. A step at a time. Is still something, sister. Celestia said. Oh okay, let's go home, Luna said, nodding. See to right, idiot. You know she will go apocalyptic otherwise, Sakura said with a small smile. I will. See you around. The blonde stallion had the time to say before light engulfed him to take the three-winged horses away. Equestria, Castle, Maelstrom's room, that night. Bucking apples with Applejack, helping Rarity with her dresses, help Twilight with cataloging her books, help Fluttershy with her animals and being Dash, partner during her flying training along helping Pinkie Pie in her family shop. Why did I tell them that I would have done everything they asked to excuse the troubles I'd put them into? The stallion asked to the room. For two reasons, one is because you are too gentle for your own good, and the other because only an idiot would give such an opening to a woman, let alone six, Kurama answered, chuckling. Thanks, that makes me feel oh so better. Maelstrom answered, groaning. But the knowledge that he still had a small link to the elemental countries and that his friends still wanted to be his friends had lifted a weight from his chest he knew had been crushing him. That same night he found himself in an empty void back into being a blonde human, near him a red-haired woman and a blonde-haired man smiling proudly at him. Luna, Naruto asked. TCH. As if I will leave that horsey mess with my baby boy's dreamstabane. Kushina answered with a superior smirk. What now? Naruto asked. We talk a little, and help you find the right way to start finding an equilibrium between your life here and the one back in the elemental countries, Minato answered. It may take long, Naruto said, snorting. Good thing time works in a strange way in dreams, Kushina answered. Yeah, Minato added. Not far away Luna slowly tiptoed out of Maelstrom's dream. Seeing those two spirits settle things themselves was enough for her. If they were there then she didn't need to intervene and help her son. She thought she could trust at least those humans enough to see how things will evolve. This time. The next day. The Moon Princess decided to join Maelstrom and Celestia at least for breakfast before going to bed and have her rest after her nightly routine, her mind already wondering how to have her son gain a good enough rhythm so to either join her or Celestia once joined the guards, but with a stamina like his that was something not as hard as it normally would have been. The first thing Maelstrom said to her though blew away every thought she had and threatened to have her heart explode in happiness. Good morning, mother, the stallion had said with a gentle smile and shining eyes. That's a good start, Celestia muttered with a small laugh at watching Luna pounce on her son to smother him silly. This doesn't mean I forgive you, ya flying donkey. You could have told me everything instead of forcing me to accept this. Maelstrom said while glaring at Celestia through Luna's feathered wings that were hugging him as well. Well, that is a less good start, horse feathers. The sun alicorn said with a defeated sigh, grimacing at hearing her sister start a new round of gushing about her. Wonderful, son. Extra scene, Naruto's dream, alternative version. That same night he found himself in an empty void back into being a blonde human. Near him a red-haired woman and a blonde-haired man smiling proudly at him. Luna, Naruto asked. TCH. As if I will leave that horsey mess with my baby boy's dreamstabane. Kushina answered with a superior smirk. What now? Naruto asked. We'll talk a little, and help you find the right way to start finding an equilibrium between your life here and the one back in the elemental countries. It may take long, Naruto said, snorting. Good thing time works in a strange way in dreams, she answered. Hey, where is Dad? The blonde shinobi asked. He is talking with those two sisters, he will join us soon. Meanwhile, Luna and Celestia's dream. You ruined my soon, Minato screamed in fury while chasing the two alicorns. It's not my fault. It was all Celestia's doing. Luna replied while dodging the new wave of kunais he was throwing them. Where is your sisterly camaraderie? And you can manipulate dreams, do something. Celestia answered. He is not a dream but an enraged spirit, and you saw him, he simply smashes down everything I put up against him. The other replied with a shriek as a Recenshuriken flew above her head. He was the manliest of the manly men just like me. And you turned him into something out of a kid's show. Minato roared as he prepared new weapons and jutsu to use against the two. Mere CY. Both sister yelled at the same time. Denied. Now let me catch you. I got a craving for a steak of horse meat. The former fourth Hokage answered with an hungry expression while taking out a knife and a fork. Kya. Needless to say, both princesses won't find a lot of rest at night. The next day Canterlot, Castle, Gardens. Celestia and Luna were waiting at the entrance of the castle for their guests to arrive, the Moon Princess actually scanning the sky in annoyance at being kept waiting. Back in the days when you were given an appointment you used to get there exactly at the accorded time, or at least 5 minutes earlier. She said huffing. Luna, please don't start giving out those old mare sayings like, back in the days or, when I was younger. Things changed a little in the last 1,000 years, social etiquette has become a little more free, but being 10 minutes late doesn't mean that they are savages. The other answered chuckling. I remember you that I was kind of indisposed during that time instead, but I won't abandon my good manners just for this reason. And why I can't hear you speak anymore with the ye old Canterlot speech, booming voice? Celestia asked. Maelstrom kept flinching at every word. Once asked why he said that I was turning whoever I met deaf with that. Just like his father, if he has to say something he does that without sugar-coating it, the princess answered sighing. That he does. The Sun Princess answered bitterly. You are just angry because he doesn't call you auntie like he used to, but look at the bright side. Luna said smiling. Which is? Now I am his favorite instead of you, like in the past where you had stole the scene. Oh. Well, that's my bright side at least. The other answered. TCH. We are deeply sorry, Your Highness. We had some last-minute troubles to adjust the roster so to have me and few others come here as requested, a Pegasus said as he and 2 others flew down in front of the princesses. I hope this had not caused too much trouble, General Drill, Celestia said with an apologetic tone. Not at all, Your Highness. I was actually curious to personally see how the wayward prince fights. Voices about his exploit in Ponyville had reached even us, but as you can imagine they got twisted into works of fantasy, like his being made of fire or summoning huge animals of energy. Ah, the imagination of young fillies, the general, Nasty Drill, said with an amused chuckle. Actually, Celestia muttered while looking down and ignoring Luna near her preening in pride. Really? An unicorn that had joined the scene with his 2 companions asked with a raised eyebrow. Princess Luna, Princess Celestia, this is Captain Shining Armor, with him 2 unicorns that will also test the prince's abilities. Since he had not been trained the conventional way we will need a wider spectrum of tests to determine if he is really good enough to become a guard, after giving him the right pointers about how our own job works, of course, Nasty Drill said. Does Twilight knows you are here? Celestia asked. Sent her a letter myself, Princess, she asked me to pay attention and don't get hurt. Shining Armor answered bowing. Good. As I explained to your general, my nephew had been trained in what are known in the elemental countries as ninja arts, and while I personally deemed the details behind his disappearance too personal to disclose, he is open to explain what his abilities are and how they do work should we ask him. As for the voices about his fight against my sister, Prince Maelstrom calls that flaming form, Sage Mode, and it is another kind of magic only found where he had been sent to. The Sun Princess answered. Well, now I am curious to get a shot at that as well, but I guess one has to expect this sort of things from the son of Princess Luna and an alicorn at least, the general answered sighing. He was an unicorn when I called him back here in Equestria, he kind of turned into one once the spell was done, Celestia answered. The body had to catch up with the spirit, Celestia. Luna answered. Sister, I am warning you, the sun alicorn muttered. I know, tune down your gushing or you'll end spoiling him. She answered. Good, just remember that it is for his own good. Celestia said nodding. Although, all that bad flankery you never got from our father did need to go somewhere, and a mere unicorn body would have never been able to contain it along the huge boost he got from his father, and well, me too for that matter. The Moon Princess muttered. Luna. Celestia roared in anger. They sure act differently outside from official meetings, I am surprised. One of the Pegasus muttered and flinching when the general turned to look at him. They are still ponies, soldier. That's why we love them, because they are still like us no matter the power at their disposal. They are our benevolent princesses and yet they try to not make us feel inferior by acting high and mighty in every occasion, Nasty Drill answered. Yes, General, I won't forget that, the soldier answered. But this doesn't mean that I won't pick off every hair of your flanks should you people act like fools. They may have the freedom to act like that, but you have not such privileges. You will be proper, respectful soldiers and follow protocol to the letter or I'll have your cutie marks nailed on my fireplace, understood? The general asked with narrowed eyes. Yes, sir. There would be no problems, sir. The group answered with rapid nods of their heads. Is everything all right? Celestia asked. Just giving my men some last-minute details about how we will work, Your Highness. The general answered with his best smile. Perfect. My son is in the gardens as he was going through some warming exercises so to be ready for your test when we left to greet you, and I expect you all to be even harsher than with normal soldiers. I won't accept favoritisms just because he is a prince, he himself won't like that, so please remember this and act accordingly, Luna answered. As you wish, Your Highness, Nasty Drill answered. Said that the small group marched towards the gardens of the castle. Once their Nasty Drill and the others were welcomed by the image of the long coat-wearing alicorn fighting against 1,000 copies of himself while few others were either meditating in a corner or balancing miniaturized Rasengan on the tip of their horns. What the hey is happening here? The general said with wide eyes. Cage Bunshin, Shadow Clone Technique, one of his spells able to create physical copies of himself. Whatever a clone experience gets transferred to the original upon dispelling. Wonderful for infiltration, information gathering and it cuts down training time by a great margin depending on how many clones can be summoned. He is actually one of the few able to use that particular ability to its full potential, even among the ones that firstly created the technique, thanks to his reserves. Luna explained. A one-stallion army, I finally get to see one in action, really interesting, Nasty Drill said with a calculative smirk. Learning multiple things at the same time and in a tenth of the time. Twilight must not know about this. Shining Armor muttered while shivering in fear. Meanwhile, Ponyville, library. Twilight Sparkle was calmly dusting some ancient tomes when her back went rigid. You okay, Twilight? Spike asked worried. My bookworm sense is tingling, the answer to my prayers has finally appeared somewhere. I must find it. She answered while looking outside with narrowed eyes. Back to Canterlot. To their surprise, and Luna's ultimate delight, Maelstrom had soon started smiling, always wider until taking in a huge breath before starting to sing. His first song, the Moon Alicorn muttered with a huge smile. Maelstrom singing, clones singing. Time to get stronger, yes indeed that's for sure. The kick punch style remains very secure. Never pending, always the first, to make a move. This time, we get, down nice and smooth. The original said. Down nice and smooth, the 1,000 clones answered in the background. Kick, punch, duck, turn. The real Alicorn said. Kick, punch, duck, turn. The clones echoed. Because I'm still smooth, with a body oh so new. I wish everybody had the same point of view. Here's the former loser, out of Team 7. As he does his best and takes you to heaven. Maelstrom said while jumping over an attacking duo of clones. Getting stronger. Face to face. Getting stronger. Let's get it on. Getting stronger. You and me. Getting stronger. Until you move anymore. Original and clones sang as one. Look up in the sky. See the stars. Up there with them. That's where we are. The stallion said as with a smirk as he started building energy on his horn to form a Rasengan. That's where we are. And so it goes, yes the final chapter. Liked or not, it doesn't matter. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday or Thursday. 24/7, each and every single day. This is how we do, the ninja lesson. Pain, your brand new prescription. Maelstrom said as he launched the small ball towards a group of clones, closing the song with the deafening roar of the jutsu's explosion. The short giggle he heard behind his back had the stallion look back and grow wide-eyed at the small audience he could see in there. Looking down in embarrassment, he dispelled his clones and half-heartedly accepted his mother's hug. Very smooth, nice rhythm as well, for your first heart song it wasn't bad. Luna said smiling. Got the urge to sing a little, is that normal? He asked. Sometimes, it happens when a certain event strikes deep down. You were happy at having the occasion to show every pony your abilities and get further training, so your heart answered with that little song, the moon alicorn answered. It's still strange, Maelstrom answered sighing. You'll get used to it. You have a nice voice so don't be afraid to use it. The other answered while nudging his head up with an hoof. Okay, mother. Good. That's the spirit. What kind of Pegasus would I be otherwise? The stallion said smirking. It's alicorn, my dear. Alicorn, not Pegasus. Luna said sighing. It is not the same thing. I am still a winged horse, he said dumbfounded. Sigh. It is not the same thing. A Pegasus has wings, an unicorn has an horn, an earth pony has neither and an alicorn has both wings and horn. You are an alicorn, pretty much the sum of the first three kinds of pony. Luna whispered. But it's confusing, her son whispered back. Trust me, Maelstrom, it has been more confusing having you refer to yourself as winged unicorn, or Pegasus, up until now. She answered. You okay, Princess Luna? Prince Maelstrom. Nasty Drill asked concerned. Just setting an issue that had been going on for a little too long, but nothing life-threatening, Luna answered smiling. Good, if the prince is ready then I think we will be able to start, the general said. I am ready, General Drill. Maelstrom answered nodding. Perfect. Shining. You, Stomper and Buster will be the first, we are gonna test him on stamina, speed and agility. Nasty Drill said. Roger. The three unicorns said as one. Give your best, Maelstrom. They need to see the full extent of your abilities to decide, Celestia said. Okay, don't worry as I won't go easy on them. The blonde stallion answered. Shining, why do I have a bad feeling about this? Wall Buster asked whispering as the alicorn charged the three of them with a look of glee on his face. Because Princess Celestia forgot to tell him to also pay attention because he is the alicorn between the four of us. Iron Stomper replied whimpering. Horse feathers. Shining Armor muttered sighing. Rasengan. The stallion said while summoning the spiraling jutsu on the tip of his horn. Shields up. Shining yelled as he summoned a sphere of energy around himself and his two companions with them adding their own magic to it to make the barrier stronger. Both spell and jutsu met in a shower of sparks until cracks started forming on the defense. Keep pushing. Shining groaned as he and the others tried pushing back. It's useless. Let's evade that thing before it breaks through. That howling sound can't be anything good. Stomper yelled just in time for the Rasengan to blow a hole in the barrier, giving to Shining Armor and Wall Buster a first row seat on the effects of the jutsu as it atomized the armor of the bulkier unicorn of the three and launched him back of several meters screaming like a frightened little girl. You are not supposed to kill them. Celestia yelled in shock. The Rasengan can drill a hole in pretty much everything, but this time I didn't put enough energy for that so he will be fine, probably. I did pull it back before it touched skin though so he should be fine in a couple of days. Maelstrom answered with a sheepish smile. How are you, soldier? Nasty Drill asked to the downed unicorn. I can't feel my liver anymore, oh, wait. There it is. Iron Stomper answered with a broken voice from the hole in the wall he was in. Keep going, you two. Let's see how good he is at dodging instead of attacking. I want him to be on the defensive. The general said. Sounds easy to say, Shining muttered with narrowed eyes. Don't worry, we still have the numbers on our side. We just need to flank him. Buster said smiling. Cage Bunshin no Jutsu. Shadow Clone Technique, Maelstrom said summoning 3 copies of himself behind him. Believe it or not, I kind of forgot about that, the slim unicorn muttered with a nervous laugh. Just be quiet, Buster. Shining answered sighing in defeat. The next day, Ponyville, Twilight's library. The group of the Elements of Harmony's bearers were sitting around a small table on the back that had been submerged in books by the resident's egghead and that was pointing at several passages on each one of them while muttering to herself. Okay, it's final. I can't find a thing on chakra here. I admit defeat. Unless I checked Princess Celestia's personal library in Canterlot, I can only say that there is not a single book that talks about it, Twilight said with an exasperated voice while slamming closed the book in front of her in a cloud of dust. Why you were looking for that, dear? Rarity asked, curious while itching a little away from the dust cloud her friend had just created. I was the one that asked, actually. Dash answered. Why? Because it sounds cool. He is a ninja, right? Like in Daring Do's book, Daring Do and the Emperor's Crown, so I wanted to know if our idea of ninja had some sort of similarities to Maelstrom's ones that had not been included in the books, the Pegasus answered, shrugging and flying a little higher to look at the pile of books herself. I don't think so. We were more flashy, and less worried about sticking to the shadows compared to those in the stories. Nice ones though, gotta read the rest of the series when I get the occasion. A voice said from the ceiling. Eep! Dash shrieked as she dropped down on the floor in surprise. I hope you have cleaned your hooves. Twilight asked with narrowed eyes. Aye, don't get your fluffy tail in a knot, Maelstrom said while snapping closed the book he was reading and slowly walking down from the ceiling and walls until he was standing at few feet from the main six. We heard that ya had been tested by the royal guards, how's it? Applejack asked. Pretty neat if I have to say. Shining Sand grumbled a little about my lack of self-restraint, but otherwise it went good and I managed to impress them. Next week I'll have to show how good I am at flying and then I will be able to join both day and night guards, he answered smirking. Giving my brother a black eye and almost tearing away a Pegasus wings, it's not lacking self-restraint, it's being violent. Twilight said with an huff while crossing her front legs. Sorry. I just wanted to show them that I was not a pampered brat, filly, but a warrior, and got carried away. He said sighing. At least those soldiers are still fine, but what do you mean by joining both groups? Wouldn't it be tiring for you? Fluttershy asked. Both Mother and Celestia, he said with a snarl, wanted me to join their group, so I said I would have followed both, Maelstrom answered shrugging. And what about sleeping? Pinkie Pie asked. Oh, that's not a problem, we studied the rounds and found a way. I got stamina to spare and can do that. We saw no problem in at least trying for a while. Why are you here by the way? Twilight asked. Because I have a debt towards you 6, I forced you to resolve a mess me myself gave birth to and I promised to help you in exchange, so here I am. Ready and at your service. The prince said smiling wide. Oh, we were joking about that actually, but it's okay. So, who's first? Rarity asked. Well, since I am here already, cough. Miss Twilight, I am your humble servant so please, use me until you reach satisfaction, my body and mind are yours to do as you please until I drop down exhausted. Although, I have stamina to spare so don't worry as I can go on for hours without stopping and, something wrong. Maelstrom said bowing, stopping when once looked up he saw 6 red-faced mares look at him with wide eyes. Sugar cube. That was kind of the worst choice of words possible, Applejack muttered. Want us to leave you some privacy, Twilight? Rarity said with a weak chuckle and making the librarian get even redder. Oh, dear, Fluttershy muttered while unable to look the stallion in the eyes and fanning herself. Yep, that was kind of dirty, Dash added. What are you? Oh, ooh, it wasn't intentional I swear. I just tried to sound all noble and the like. Maelstrom screamed as soon as he understood the involuntary double entendre in his words. It's okay, you can help me by cleaning and cataloging the books as I said, you girls helping. Twilight answered once calmed down. Sorry, dear, got some orders that cannot wait, Rarity said shaking her head. Aw still got to help Big Mac at the barn, sorry. Applejack added. Gotta go, still have to help clean the sky of the Everfree, sorry, Twee. Dash said as she disappeared in a burst of speed. I guess this will mean that it's only me, you and Spike. Maelstrom asked as Pinkie 2 moved out after waving at the two. So it seems, you coming, Spike? Twilight answered. Of course, The small dragon said, nodding. A pet dragon, that's awesome, the prince said, smirking. Thank you, there weren't dragons in that place? She asked. In the elemental countries. Only in myths, but I would have loved to summon one, they are cool. He answered. Both shared a laugh at watching Spike puff out his tiny chest while striking a cool pose, failing miserably once tripped on his steps, falling face first on the floor. I saw you use your powers to keep a book up to read, are you really taking lessons from Princess Luna? The purple unicorn asked while the two moved through the girl's checklist for each title. Pretty much, he answered, nodding. How can someone, pretty much, take lessons? It doesn't make any sense. She asked, taken aback. Well, I cheat a little in reality. Maelstrom answered. Cheat? Like this, Cage Bunchin. The stallion answered by creating a clone. Give him a book, a random one. Come on, I'll show you, Maelstrom said with an encouraging nod. And what about the real you? Twilight asked. I'll turn my back and then I will surprise you, he answered while giving his back to her. This one, the first few lines, she said while taking an ancient tome and opening it in a casual page in front of the clone. Done, boss, the clone said after a short pause of reading before getting dispelled. So, Twilight asked, confused. It is said that adding energy to a reversely composed matrix will create a backlash no pony with even a shard of interest for one's well-being should want to see happen, but I beg to differ, does it answer your question? Maelstrom said with a knowing smirk. That was Starswirl's opinion on warding. How? Twilight asked with wide eyes. A shadow clone can send back to its creator every information it has gathered once dispelled, may it be in a fight or from reading a book. I just create few hundreds to study what Luna asked me to, once done I dispel them and go through the practical side, that I usually prefer. Never was a scholar kind of guy, I am more for an hands no, hooves down kind of approach, the Alicorn Prince answered. So if you wanted you could? Twilight asked with a calculative gaze. Create enough clones to memorize every book in this library. Maybe, but why would I want to do that? He answered, shrugging. Twilly, you okay? You are vibrating, Spike asked with a worried voice. The answer was a purple missile tackling Maelstrom and sending both rolling on the floor until the smaller unicorn was on top of the stallion with both front legs at each side of his head and her face at an inch of his. Please teach me, she asked with her cutest voice. You don't have chakra. I can't do that if you don't have that energy inside you, he answered, uncertain. He didn't know, nor actually want to know, if she was using some kind of unicorn magic he was not aware of or if that it was an ability she personally had, but her eyes in that instant had practically doubled in size and gained a thin veil of moisture at their extremities. Even her lower lip was trembling a little. Please, pretty please, she asked again. No chakra, no shadow clones. He repeated slowly. Sniff. Her sniffle echoed in the silent library as her unshed tears grew in quantity, making her eyes shine. Sigh. Damn it. Kurama growled from the seal while failing to look away. Sigh. Maybe I can temporarily give you enough chakra to try, it would mean that I would have to personally refill your reserves after each try, but if I got details right, Hagoromo gave chakra to people with a jutsu of his. And while I can't do that on a permanent basis, maybe I will be able to give you some for just enough time to summon a clone or two, but not more than that. Maelstrom said with a sigh of defeat. Yay, thank you, Twilight said with a wide smile while hugging him, kissing his cheek in her blind happiness. Oh, she muttered once noticed. Let's pretend that never happened, okay? The stallion said in embarrassment. Yes, thank you, don't know what got over me. She answered, nodding. Meanwhile, Canterlot. An horror-filled scream made the castle tremble as Luna entered the throne room to look at Celestia with bloodshot eyes. What happened, Luna? The son Alicorn asked, worried. Where is Maelstrom? I had a nightmare and I need to be sure that he is safe and I was not having some sort of premonition, the Moon Princess answered. You are taking this mother thing too seriously, and I am surprised to say such a thing. He is safe and can defend himself, and even then, he is in Ponyville. Celestia answered. Ponyville. Why? He wanted to repay the element bearers for the trouble he had put them through during his crisis. He is probably already helping Twilight with her books, she answered. Oh, okay. Wait, Luna said while letting out a long calming breath before her wings shot open rigid just like her eyes. Twilight, as in Twilight Sparkle? She asked. Yes, Celestia said unsure. As in, Twilight Sparkle the unicorn? Luna asked with narrowed eyes. Last time I checked she was one, yes, the other answered with an uncertain nod. Twilight Sparkle the female unicorn. The moon alicorn said with a strange tone stressing the unicorn's sex. Luna, you are not suggesting that something may happen between the two, right? Celestia asked, now very worried. What? Why would I? They are just two young ponies, alone, in a closed space where no one would enter and disturb them because probably closed for cataloging, with one being a studly stallion and the other a by now hormonal teen probably curious about how mating works. Why should I be worried? As if she would ever make a move on my innocent son and put her dirty hooves on him so to kiss and then undress him and… Luna answered before she flew out of the window like a bullet of black-bluish energy moving at light speed towards Ponyville. Oh, for the love of… Celestia said groaning before teleporting away. Halfway towards Ponyville, few seconds later. Need to go faster. Need to save son's innocence. Need to stop dirty frolicking. And turn evil Mare into ugly ornament and hide it in the everfree forest. The moon alicorn muttered to herself while gaining even more speed. When an ethereal hand grabbed Luna to stop her long enough for Celestia to appear in front of her, a thick, tense silence filled the area as every life form stood still so to not interfere in the confrontation of the two powerful sisters. What are you doing, sister dear? Celestia asked while tapping one of her hooves on the cloud she was standing on. Oh, you know, just flying around. Luna answered with as much casualness she could fit in her voice. Flying around. Flying around. The Moon Princess replied nonplussed. Overreacting? The Sun Alicorn asked. Overreacting? Are you? Celestia asked with narrowed eyes. No. Good, because that would be bad. The other said nodding. How bad? I'd have to put you back on the moon until you calm down. That's bad, Luna said surprised. Indeed. Listen, I was just planning to check on him a little, that's all. Nothing bad or sinister. Luna, he is not a filly, he is a young war veteran no matter how wrong that sounds, so just let him go have some freedom. Celestia said sighing. Do I really have to? Luna said with a moan. He will soon become a knight in Date Guard. Once done you'll have at least a good excuse to keep him close to you all you like, can you at least wait until then? The Sun Princess said. Okay, the other muttered in defeat. Sigh. Okay, fine, we will go give a peek, but just for a minute. And this is a one-time deal only for today. Let him have his space, you suffocating mare. Celestia said once saw her sister's downcast expression. Hooray, I knew you would have seen reason. You are not evil after all. Luna said with a wide smile. Said that both princesses disappeared in a new flash of teleportation, this time reappearing outside Ponyville's library to peek through the windows, thing that forced Celestia to once again restrain Luna as for some reason the two were touching horns with their eyes closed. Unluckily they couldn't hear what was being said, otherwise the thing would have been resolved sooner and more easily. Inside the library. Can you feel it? This is basically how I shape chakra through magic to form my clones, Maelstrom muttered while sending chakra to his horn so to have Twilight sense it. This is a different kind of energy then. And you use your alicorn magic to guide it, fascinating, she said as her smaller horn moved a little up and down his. Yes, do you see why I said it was hard to teach then? It took me months during my imprisonment just to relearn how to shape chakra in a new body, he said nodding, movement that unknown to them had their heads momentarily move closer and got Luna to go full apoplectic in anger. It's a pity, maybe you can help me create a spell with similar results then. Twilight asked as the two broke apart. You can do that? He asked surprised, this one clearly heard by the two princesses. I still don't know, but I am sure that there should be some book about it around. And I never lacked imagination in this sort of things, Twilight answered smirking. Awesome, the stallion said in awe. Outside. Why you are not leaving me go in there? She is harassing him with who knows what kind of dirty ideas. Luna hissed. Twilight is not the kind of pony to do that, trust me as I know my student. And you are not in the right mood to pacifically intervene in anything either, so the blocks remain where they are, Celestia answered. Then why you are not in there to stop this travesty from continuing? The Moon Princess asked. Because that would mean leave you unchecked, and I am afraid of the possible inclinations of that happening, the other answered. Then what should we do? Luna roared, and forcing both princesses to duck down so to not be spot. We go back to the castle where you will calm yourself down by blowing up something easily replaceable, and once returned to a more princess-like composure we will wait for Maelstrom's return and calmly and subtly try to understand what happened. And if there is something between the two we will see if it is something serious or just a fling, no sense going nightmare on Twilight without certain proofs. Celestia answered. Can I at least banish her should I don't like the answer? Luna asked. We can't send on the moon everything and every pony we don't like, the Sun Princess answered while shaking her head. Well, admittedly I was thinking about another planet. You know, that faint blue dot our astronomers said was the farthest planet from Equestria. The Moon Alicorn answered with a nervous smile. Let's just go home for now, I will pretend that answer never left your mouth if you don't mind. Celestia said bitterly before forcefully teleporting the two away. Back with the two. Why I have this strange chill running up my back? Maelstrom asked. I don't know, but I have a similar one, Twilight answered nodding. Meh, both said shrugging as they returned to the books. Second chapter done. I decided that I will do a chapter for one or two girls in the pairing so to at least try to have a proper start to the respective pairing. Little preview for the next one. Next one will be about Pinkie Pie and Rainbow Dash. Here is a little preview of Pinkie's part, one I hope will be somehow fun for you too. Igneous Rock, Pinkie's father, knew something was bad when a stallion of all people came visiting their home. He was not exactly an overprotective father by any means, but as every father he was still feeling kind of queasy at the idea of any male figure spending too much time alone with his daughter. My dear, he is just helping her with a secret project of Pinkie. I don't think there is anything to worry about, they are friends, that's all. The stallion's wife said for what must have been the 10th time in the last 30 minutes. I am not exactly worried. I am just keeping my ears open and my senses sharp as my rocks, Igneous answered even too much casually as he stalked closer to the kitchen door. Look, I trust you and I trust my daughter, and I will show you that there is nothing to be worried about, the mayor said huffing as both leaned close to the door to listen. Wow, that's huge, they heard Pinkie said, making her father splutter. You think? Maelstrom answered uncertain. I had always seen way smaller ones, or at least I never saw something like this in person, only on pictures. She answered giggling. Where? Igneous mouthed with an horrified expression. SSSH. Quartz hissed. Do you think it will fit inside? Maelstrom asked, unknowingly making both parents go green in their face. Maybe cramming it in. You can try pushing hard until it enters all the way inside, Pinkie answered. I am going to be sick, Igneous muttered between gauging sounds while his wife was too shocked to even breath. It would make a mess, Pinkie. Stuff would fly around and splatter everywhere and make things too sticky. The stallion said in disgust from inside. That may be, but it still tastes good. About that, I can't believe how much of that you can actually eat, doesn't that make you sick? He asked. What can I say? I am a glutton, she answered with a new giggle. Oh Celestia, Quartz said while sitting on the floor in shock. You know what? Whatever. Open wide so I can start in. Maelstrom was about to say when Igneous broke down the door in his haste to enter. What are you? Oh, you are making a pie. He, just a pie. The girl's father yelled before rapidly dropping everything once saw Maelstrom and Pinkie covered from head to tail in floor with various splotches of chocolate here and there and a huge pie near them. Ahoo. I wanted to see if I could make the most biggest chocolate pie ever and Maelstrom helped me. Pinkie answered with a wide smile. The problem is that we got so caught up that we never considered how to actually have it fit in the oven. At least in the meantime I got some clones to clean up, like that you won't have a mess for a kitchen, the prince answered nodding. Ah, Okay. I thought you two were, it doesn't matter, but thank you for cleaning up everything, Your Highness. There was no need, Igneous said with a forced smile while trying to pretend he never bust inside. Try cutting the thing in half and cook it like that, you can put it back together once done. Quartz added from outside with a relieved expression. Okay, Mum, Pinky said smiling and waving at her parents as they left the room. Nice ponies, Maelstrom muttered, shivering when Pinky gave a long lick to his cheek. It needs more good though. The pink pony said seriously. Please don't do that, the stallion said blushing. Yes please, don't. Quartz muttered gagging while Igneous kept hammering his head on a big rock to erase the images he had conjured in his head by himself during his spying. Canterlot, castle, dining room. Celestia sighed once again as she brought the mug of her morning tea up to take a sip, looking at the empty spot in front of her in sadness while eating alone as Luna was already in her bed to rest from her night job as Moon Princess and Guardian of Dreams. Auntie. A faraway echo of past memories rang in the back of her head as the spectral image of a young filly momentarily appeared sitting in front of her. Yes, Muley. The Sun Alicorn heard herself answer. Don't call me like that. It's embarrassing. The very young Maelstrom answered pouting, making past Celestia laugh a little. What did you want to ask? She remembered herself say with a gentle smile. When I'll get older, will you teach me how to rise the sun like you do? Celestia, the young pony asked shyly. Only if you are a good boy. The echo of the princess's past answered. As the memories faded away, the Alicorn found herself alone again in the empty room filled only by the slow clocking of a near clock. What happened? What drove us apart? He just eats in silence and then leaves to either train with the guards or either study and spend time with Luna. Can't he spend some time with me like he used to? He is ignoring my existence altogether. She asked to the empty seat, sighing. She hoped that once back the blonde stallion would have returned to be part of her life. Instead he still treated her coldly, detached, showing his old warmth only to Luna and his friends. Even the guards were treated more friendly than Celestia, and that was tearing her apart. He won't be able to hold a grudge forever, he will forgive me sooner or later. I just have to be patient, she muttered before hurrying to finish her breakfast so to start her duties as princess of the day. You know he will understand eventually, give him time. We are talking a lot and he has told me of his life as an human and his dreams and hopes, he will warm up to you as well. Luna answered as she walked into the room. Why are you awake? You should rest, Celestia said. Nature was calling, Selly. Princess or not, I too need relief from time to time, the other answered smirking. Then I won't keep you, the Sun Alicorn answered smiling. I am trying to talk him into forgiving you, but is not easy, try to talk to him again. The Moon Princess answered before returning to her room. Meanwhile, Konoha, Uchiha compound. Sasuke knew things were about to go so south to go full circle the moment a winged horse with a spiky blonde mane crashed through his door with a terrorized expression. Why are you here? And why without an henge? You know people may panic at seeing a flying horse. It was a miracle people didn't notice Luna-san and Celestia-san last time they came here to take you. Sasuke had said, annoyed before freezing at seeing the horrified light in Naruto's eyes. I need help. I need help. I don't know what to do. The distressed Alicorn kept saying while walking in circles, his horn flaring without apparent control, making the whole room shock. The elemental nations may have jumped over some inventions technologically speaking during its populace's evolution, but the Uchiha heir was still having the same feeling a normal human would have it, knowing that at few feet in front of him there was a nuclear bomb ready to go boom at the slightest provocation. The Dobi normally was a powerhouse in a human body. Now he is a magical horse that can do magic with his horn. That means adding even more power to what he already had, and he is now panicking enough to lose control, in the middle of Konoha. This is not good, the young man thought in dismay. What kind of problem? He asked, trying to sound calm and not panicking himself. A big one, and huge fucking problem I have no idea how to resolve. Naruto, or Maelstrom or whatever, Sasuke thought, answered shrieking. See, can I ask to the others to join us? Sasuke asked back. Why? I don't want to die alone if you blow up. I think more heads will find a solution more easily, the Uchiha said with his most convincing tone. Oh, okay, try to see if the girls too can join. A female point of view would be good, very good. The stallion answered as the floor gave in under his body out of magical pressure forming a crater. Do not demolish my house, I'll be back soon. Sasuke answered. As soon as he had calmly closed the door behind himself he sprinted forward, running faster than he ever had in his whole life, even faster than when he had fought Kagaya and Naruto himself. His old teammate was a step close at vaporizing the village because unable to think straight, so he felt justified to simply grab his targets, without stopping his run or explain, making Sakura, Ino, Tenten, Choji, Shikamaru, Kiba and Akamaru, Shino and even Rock Lee disappear in what seemed, from an outsider's point of view, a barely seen blur before returning home with a long chain of human rag dolls flaying behind him. You, me, Dobi, help, now, Sasuke said, launching those people inside the room before slamming closed the door and sealing it into full privacy mode. Why the room is spinning? Kiba asked with spinning eyes from his face-down position on the floor. Hiraishin, an equally confused Sakura asked dumbfounded. No, fear that the idiot will blow up my house no jutsu. Now stop asking and start helping. Sasuke answered. Let's calm down. What's happening, Naruto? Shikamaru asked with a groan. I didn't expect all of you to be here, even just Sakura and Ino would have been enough. The stallion answered. I was in a hurry and forgot to ask what the problem was, so I took everything I could put my hands on to cover every possible angle, Sasuke answered huffing. Spit it out, why are you here? Ino asked frowning. I need help in a matter of, well, heart. Maelstrom whispered while looking down. Heart, you are in love with someone? Sakura asked as she and Ino eagerly sat at both sides of the alicorn. Still Hinata? Choji asked. The muttered answer was too low even for Kiba to hear. Can you speak louder? I think Akamaru too failed in hearing you, Kiba said annoyed. Rainbow Dash, Maelstrom replied. Isn't she that girl you said helped managing the weather in the small town where she lives? Ino asked in surprise. Yes, he answered nodding. You are in love with an horse. Kiba yelled in shock. Kiba, he is an horse himself. Shino answered calmly. Oh, yeah, keep forgetting that the henge is the human body and the horse is the real one, it's kind of hard to get used to. The Inuzuka boy said nodding. How did that happen? Tenten asked curious. I am taking flying lessons from her, since it's kind of different using wings than just flying with chakra. Luna Kasan is fine and all and I just love to spend time with her when she teaches me or when she tells me stories of my past or about hers and my father's time together, but she tends to be overly cautious when we go through flying exercises so it's kind of boring. Naruto answered. And knowing you, if it isn't at least a tiny bit dangerous, you get bored easily, Sasuke said sighing. It's just because even in a different body his spirit is that of pure youth. Lee said smirking. In a sense, but with Dash it was better. She is funny, cool and pretty much an adrenaline junkie. She doesn't beat around the bush when dealing with someone or something and always push herself to the max to get better, and those eyes and her wings and her fur that is the color of the sky and. The stallion answered. Okay, you got it bad. But what is the problem? Sakura asked smirking. I don't know what to do. I happened to blurt out a compliment or two and she seemed to like them. Apparently for the others she is a pony version of a tomboy, but then. What if she doesn't like me enough to be my girlfriend? Or if she says yes, then how should I act? I never was in a relationship. Will I fuck up everything? I bet I will. Take me out of a fighting situation and I am hopeless. He answered. Calm down, the most important thing here is being rational, and please Ino, stop petting him. Shikamaru said before glaring at the blonde Yamanaka girl. Sorry. But he is just so fluffy and adorable. She answered in embarrassment. He kind of is. I heard that Kurenai-san actually squealed when she saw his Pegasus form for the first time, Sakura added. It's alicorn, Naruto said. Isn't that the same thing? You are a winged horse. Apparently not, there is a difference. Can we return to the matter at hand, please? Sasuke asked just as the door was kicked down by a furious Tsunade. You have 5 seconds to tell me why you kidnapped those shinobi before I. Naruto. Tsunade roared as she and Kakashi barged inside, but stopping once they saw the stallion in the middle of the room. He was asking us for help since he has fell in love with one of his friends, Shisho. Sakura answered. Fell in love? Okay, I'll handle this, the Sannin woman said while Kakashi simply gestured to someone outside to leave, probably Anbu that had followed them. Said that the masked Hokage leaned on the door while the woman moved to sit on the floor near Maelstrom before grabbing him and setting him on her lap, daring with a glare any of the present to comment her petting and hugging him. Ba-chan, the fuck are you doing? Maelstrom said. Silence. It will calm the two of us. Now, who is this bitch that seduced you exactly? Tsunade asked. Dash is not a bitch. For God's sake, Ba-chan. I didn't tell Luna Kasen for this reason alone. She too would have blown a gasket about it, Naruto said in dismay. She is just worried to see an hussy corrupt you, just like me. Now start from the beginning and tell me how this happened and what had you go in full panic. The Sannin asked. Sigh. Okay, it all happened during our last flying session. Ponyville, skies, not so long ago. Two streams of light could be seen soar above Ponyville at ludicrous speed, with the golden-yellow one closely following the rainbow-colored one with barely a split-second difference, copying each maneuver the first went through, no matter if simple as a loop-de-loop or more complicated like a corkscrew spiral upward or downward. Both streams then separated and started flying side by side, spinning and turning before falling all the way to street level, dodging every pony they came across an instant before impact and startling the poor victims of their daring flight. The mad race came to a stop when a rather huge cloud appeared in front of them, making the two lights rapidly spin around it until it took a shape more similar to that of a pillow, where a blonde alicorn and a rainbow-haired Pegasus then collapsed onto it on their backs, laughing while lying there to rest. Oh boy, that was fast. And funny too, Maelstrom said between fits of laughter. Ha 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 ha. Yeah, gotta say that it's rare for me to find another flying enthusiast. I mean, many would see me as a blindly boasting fool or Dash answered with a small smile. Or an ass that just can't help but boast loudly as she talks about her dream. I know the feeling. I used to yell to the world how I would have become Hokage and protect everyone, but let's say that my academic results at the time were not encouraging, but I never quit nor admitted defeat, and I don't think you should either. Maelstrom answered encouragingly. And then tell me, Mr. Prince, why don't you find me a pain like many others usually do? Even Rarity and Toolite sometimes admit to find annoying my talking about the Wonderbolts, she asked back while inching a little closer to him. As I said, I was, and pretty much I still am, just as loud and boasting as you are now, so I actually admire how hard you work to get always better. Sure, you still have that slightly inflated ego problem, but who am I to judge? The stallion answered, smirking. Ego problem? Oh, do shut up, Mr. Super Ninja. You are the very last one that should talk about ego. Dash said, giving him a playful bump on the shoulder with her hoof. Hoy, you can get away with that, at least contrary to us others. You have good looks on your side too, so their arguments would be invalid in front of pure awesomeness. Maelstrom answered. Come on, enough compliments, is not like I am all girly like Rarity or a shy cutie like Fluttershy. She muttered with an humorless voice as she looked away. I really think that you are a pretty girl, the ones treating you like a feminine stallion are just idiots. He answered seriously. Faye. Dash huffed in disinterest. People didn't used to treat me like a person back in Konoha, you know. It was always like they expected me to sprout fangs and attack them, this in the worst case, otherwise they just liked to think that failure was the only outcome of everything I wanted to do. Even when I became a genin, the lowest level of ninja barely out of our academy, in their eyes I could always see a total lack of trust or acknowledgement. You are a wonderful flyer, an incredible friend, and a mare that everyone with even just a spark of common sense would kill to talk to, let alone date. He said as this time he was the one to move closer to her. Really? Dash muttered while turning to once again look at him. Really? He answered. And what about you? You really find me that cute? She asked. The following silence lasted only the smallest of instants, and yet it seemed to prolong to years as she looked in his cerulean eyes and he back in hers, unblinking as both committed to memory every detail of the other's face before he lunged forward, covering her lips with his. Warm, smooth flesh covered her mouth for a second before those foreign lips got pulled away, eyes once again open and looking at each other. Wah wah. A very embarrassed Dash spluttered as Maelstrom slowly moved closer for another kiss. Please, he whispered almost too low to be heard. She didn't know why she caved in, but she moved forward herself in a new kiss. When she felt his mouth open though she grew slightly surprised until something else, his tongue. As a small part of her brain not focused on kissing said, tentatively and tenderly caressed her own lips. Curious about what he wanted to do she slowly left the, admittedly tasty, intruder slowly part her lips and meet her own tongue. Heat exploded in her mind blowing away every thought as the stallion she was kissing moved through a shy exploring of her mouth, and she did the same, tasting every inch of him as his hooves circled her neck deepening the experience. The same heat then moved to spread all over her body as instinct took over making her more daring, more hungry as she forcefully pushed back his tongue to gain even more from the kiss, and as soon as he responded with his own force she found herself drowning, forgetting everything and everyone, and he doing the same, until only them existed at all, ignoring even the need to breath just to not interrupt the moment of bliss. When they eventually managed to stop, both Alicorn and Pegasus stood lying down hugging each other with her forehead pressed on his while both panted from the lack of oxygen. I know it's pant late to ask, but would you be my girlfriend? Maelstrom muttered. I think that I can do that, but what was that? A flustered Dash answered meekly. Well, it started like a kiss, then it went down into a bit of French kissing, then I don't know, I kind of went into autopilot at a certain point. You didn't like that? He asked back. In answer the rainbow-maned Pegasus just pounced on him to repeat the kiss until once again the need to breath pretended attention. I don't know what this French whatever is, but Celestia if you know how to kiss. Dash said while giving little kisses to the stallion. It was my first time actually, he admitted blushing. Lucky me then, I got a boyfriend that is a natural in this sort of things. She answered smirking, making the other laugh happily and hug her tightly. Their cuddling though went interrupted by a new voice calling for Dash to show up. Dash, there is a certain Gilda looking for you. Do something before one of the guys punch that griffin into next week. She managed to anger even Placid Cloud. The male Pegasus yelled with an annoyed voice. Sigh. Gotta go, meet you at Sugarcube Corner. Dash said sighing. I'll be there, Dashi-chan. Maelstrom answered smirking. Got to remember that the chan suffix you use is a sort of compliment. The mare muttered before joining her friend to talk with this Gilda. As soon as the girl disappeared from view though the placid smile Maelstrom was sporting dropped to leave room to the horrified expression that the stallion was barely holding back to not scare Dash. I have a girlfriend. Fuck, he said before disappearing in a burst of speed that blew away half the clouds covering Ponyville. He needed help in understanding what to do and he planned to reach Konoha and ask someone. Too bad his panic-induced hysteria had him crash in Sasuke's place instead of Tsunade's. Present time, Uchiha clan compound, Konoha. You French-kissed an horse. Kiba muttered. Hoi. Once I wrapped my head around this horse thing, I started noticing the differences between the mares there, and as not bestiality since I am, by default, an horse myself, Naruto answered. The fact that she doesn't know what that kiss was it's surprising, Tsunade said. Their world is, well, Equestria is pretty much, kid-friendly, if I have to say. They don't curse, like to sing and such. Even when they fight the worst they do to each other is knocking down or transform the other into something harmless. The worst kind of wounds are black eyes, bruises and the like. They risk more during incidents than in proper fights. They are pure, in a sense, Naruto answered. Makes me wonder what would happen should you eat her out, Kiba muttered. Shino? Kakashi asked. Ouch. The Inuzuka boy yelped as Shino slapped the back of his neck. Thank you, Shino. Kakashi said smiling. No problems, Hokage-sama. Listen, the thing is easy, be yourself. She accepted your proposal because it was something not planned. You were acting like yourself just like you were doing before that happened. It means that she likes you, just the way you are. It's a good start, Ino said with a little smile. Luckily Hinata is not here, she would go ballistic over this, Sasuke said sighing. Okay. Just for this time we are going to give you a little advice on heart matters. See to remember everything, but also know that we are giving you just simple suggestions. As Ino said, she likes you, meaning the person or pony you usually are. Sakura said reassuringly. Okay, I think I can do this, the stallion said, nodding. Half an hour later, Ponyville. Maelstrom was once again back in Equestria with a more calm attitude towards the whole girlfriend business when a strange sense of uneasiness took him over as soon as he stepped inside Ponyville territory. Hurrying into a small trot, he started looking for Dash, as for some reason he had the impression that something had happened. When he reached Twilight's place, he could hear a muffled out sobbing coming from inside, thing that had him pretty much open the door with enough force to tear it off its hinges. What's happening? Dash, he yelled before running at the crying mare's side in an instant. Ma Maelstrom. I. Wah. Dash said before erupting in a new fit of desperate wailing as she threw her arms around his neck. What happened? He asked again while hugging her back. An old friend of her, Gilda. The two had a discussion and pretty much had their friendship. Sigh. Crumble to dust, Twilight answered with a sad tone. And where is this mare? Maelstrom asked. A griffin, she is a griffin and probably already returning home. Dash muttered between hiccups. She had not been exactly nice with us, and Dash defended us instead of siding with her. Rarity said. So she acted like a bit. The stallion tried saying. Yes, but please contain yourself. This is no time to lose control, we need to console her. Twilight answered. Console her, yes. Maelstrom muttered mechanically while nodding. Kit, I know you, and I am of the same advice. There is an ass that needs a good kicking. She needs that Gilda if she is this devastated at losing her. And I can feel your anger at watching her cry, so I'll make you an offer I haven't done ever since you were a genin. Kurama said with narrowed eyes and a growling voice. I don't like to see her crying, to see her suffer. I am listening, Maelstrom answered after a short pause. Don't tell them we are together. I'll explain later, Dash muttered in his ear. Want me to talk with Gilda? I can help her resonate and see that you two can still be friends, the stallion offered. It's useless, she hates the fact that I have friends here and is too stubborn to listen to others, Dash answered. Don't you trust me? Maelstrom asked with an hurt expression. You would really do that? Pinky asked. I consider you all friends, and I hate to see my friends suffer like this, he answered. Thank you, it won't work, but I appreciate the gesture. Dash said grateful. There is no problem, Maelstrom answered with a kind smile before going out of the library. As soon as he was outside, the smile dropped and a snarl took its place, scaring the ones passing by as the stallion's muscles seemed to harden while a strange bubbling aura of energy covered his body, making the whiskers-like markings on his face get thicker, his eyes turn red with slit pupils and his mouth gaining enough fangs to shame a pack of timberwolves. Gilda, I swear that I will either talk you into seeing reason or eat you for dinner. Maelstrom growled before opening his wings wide, now somehow even bigger than before. Oh, I think I overdid, Kurama thought in alarm as the alicorn took off with enough speed to leave behind even his own sonic boom. The Biju just hoped that by the time they found that griffin he would manage to reabsorb some of the malicious intent Maelstrom was now oozing out in waves. With Gilda, not too far away. Stupid Dash, stupid unicorns and stupid earth ponies, wasting her time with those losers. Sniff. What was wrong in being just the two of us, I wonder. We were the coolest ones, the others were just an hindrance, the female griffin muttered while oscillating between anger and sadness. Whatever. I don't need her. I don't need anybody. I am better alone than surrounded by losers. She then said while biting down a new, uncool, sob. It was in that moment that pure rage surged from behind her as a bullet of reddish gold energy flew past her before taking the shape of an alicorn that then moved to stand on a cloud to glare at her with blood-colored eyes. Gilda, he asked sneering. And you are? She asked back while preparing her talons for battle. Dash, cult friend, the one that hates with a passion to see her suffer and cry, Maelstrom answered. You seem different from those weaklings Dash had the stupid idea to be friends with, it means that she is still redeemable, Gilda said smirking. Calm down, she wouldn't want to see you like this, nor for her best friend to become your dinner, Kurama said from the seal. Taking in a huge breath, the stallion slowly calmed himself down until the bubbling aura disappeared inside his body to look at the griffin with once again blue eyes. Calmed down? Gilda asked. Yes, I was about to tear off your wings. I should pay attention when using the Biju cloak, it tends to make instincts go high wire, he answered. You are not joking about hurting me. You are a warrior, but not a normal one, different from those guards I saw. Why? Gilda asked as she too relaxed a little, still showing her willingness to fight though. Got a trying upbringing. Why have you argued with Dash? Just because she made new friends? Maelstrom asked. She made uncool friends, pathetic ones, like that spineless Fluttershy the bookworm. Those had to take her away, she answered bitterly. To her surprise, the last anger she could see in his eyes just evaporated as he sat on that cloud to look at her in sadness. You are lonely, do you? How many friends do you have other than Dash? Lonely. Don't make me laugh. I am swarmed by people wishing to have a little of my attention. Gilda answered as she too joined him on the cloud with a theatrical flare of her wings. Hey, there is no need to lie. He answered with a kind smile. I am not telling lies. She answered indignant. You are doing the same thing I used to do back there in Konoha, boasting and loudly proclaiming my awesomeness, filling my mouth with empty words and smiles to hide the pain. You are feeling alone, just like I used to. The stallion continued. Don't talk as if you know me. Gilda hissed with narrowed eyes. No, I don't know you, but I know you care about Dash enough to be happy for her finding new friends. I bet you were secretly elated to see that she had found someone else other than you, and for some reason you are afraid that she may leave you behind because of that. Maelstrom answered, still with a sad smile on his face. Once understood what her problem was, he could no longer be angry at her. She will waste her time with those ponies. They are not good enough for her. Not as good as I have always been. Gilda yelled back. You don't believe in that yourself, you are just scared to be left alone, and guess what, Dash still wants you in her life. She still wants her dear friend Gilda to talk to have the griffin girl she had knew since forever to be her friend just like with Twilight and the others, he said, unrelenting as he walked closer to her. It doesn't matter. I have already made my choice, whatever friendship I had with Dash is over, the griffin said, shaking her head. But it does matter. And it will always matter to you. And deep inside you know this is true. Maelstrom said. Stop, she muttered with cracking voice. You still care about Dash. About your friendship, don't you? You will never stop worrying about her well-being nor stop treasuring any memory you two share. I said stop. That is why you acted like that. You may be happy for her, but deep inside you were also jealous because you feared that she would no longer have enough time to spend with you. You were convinced that Dash had somehow forgot completely about you, and so you lashed out, insulting every one of her friends in the hope she would choose you over them in order to save your friendship. Please, just stop talking. Failed that, since loving Dash was now making you suffer, you preferred arguing with her, like that if there wasn't any friendship between you two then the pain would just fade away, that's what you thought, right? Cutting off that bridge in the hopes to no longer suffer like that. Shut up. Gilda screamed in anger as her claw moved on its own, piercing the stallion's side, making her scream in horror. No, I am sorry. The griffin said with wide eyes at watching the red stream flowing down the deep wound. You know that it won't work, right? You can't just throw away a life worth of friendship just like that. You griffin may be prideful creatures, valuating strength above all else, but you too recognize the value of what you and Dash used and still share. Maelstrom said as the bubbling aura briefly returned to cover his wound and closing it in a subtle sizzling until nothing remained, not even the faintest of scars. Stop, she said, taking few steps back. If you don't, I'll attack again. I don't think so, because you know that I am right. Let's go back. If you want you can stay friends with Dash. She still wants you. She needs you just as much as you need her. Her friends too are ready to offer their friendship. Not to take your place, but to have you join the group. Maelstrom answered, smiling. And you? Gilda asked while relaxing even more. Me too if you want. I don't want Dash to think she has to choose between me, you and the others, I just want her to be happy. He answered, nodding. Fight, the griffin muttered. What? Fight with me, if you win. I'll give a try to this, but if I win you will let me go and never bother me again, Gilda said. You need to play the badass woman until the end. So be it, just don't expect me to play nice just because you are friend. I won't play nice either. You want to impress me enough to have me listen to what you say. Then show me how good you are in actions too other than words. Ready? Maelstrom asked smirking. Bring it on. I'll show ya wham. Gilda had the time to say that as soon the fight started the right hoof of the stallion impacted with her face in a very human-style punch. Half an hour later, Ponyville. You sure you will be okay, Twilight asked. Sniff. I'll be. Maelstrom must have failed talking to her. I am not surprised, she had always had an head as hard as stone, the Pegasus answered sadly. Yeah, but the guy here hits hard enough to crack rocks. Gilda muttered as both she and the stallion landed near the group. She had various bruises and a swelling eye while he was sporting a huge smile and several clawing marks on his side. She insisted to have us resolve it, in the Griffin way, namely fighting until the other admit defeat. Maelstrom said grinning. It doesn't work like that, I think. Twilight said uncertain. She said it did instead. The stallion said shrugging. Look, I am not good at this sort of things. Let's say that I am not happy about how I acted before, okay? Gilda said in forced annoyance. It means that she is sorry. Pinkie Pie said smiling. We know that, Pinkie. Rarity answered sighing. Sigh, okay, I am sorry. I just couldn't accept that you could leave me behind. How are we supposed to keep in touch now? The Griffin said sighing. Stay here in Ponyville, Maelstrom offered. What? The other mares plus Griffin yelled. Celestia always wonders how to show that between ponies and griffins there can be peace. Having one openly joining Ponyville and even help with the weather would show that the two races can coexist pacifically, granted that the griffin will stop being an ass. The stallion said. Okay, I think I can accept talking with some ponies. I'll need to lower my standards, but I'll survive. Gilda said, yelping when Maelstrom stomped on her claw with a scowl. What did I say about that? He asked. Keep the boasting to a minimum, give me some time though, I am trying. Gilda answered. Where should she live then? Applejack asked. Considering that any pony else other than Dash would just go mad at her attitude until it gets fixed, I say that both should share an apartment, or better, the one I bought here when I decided that I needed a place to crash in when coming here, as long as they leave me sleep on the couch I am fine. Maelstrom answered. I can't accept, Gilda answered, barely moving fast enough to grab a key. There. 2 bedrooms, a bathroom, big living room, a nice balcony to use to watch the clouds and a spacious kitchen, just pay attention to the parquet. The stallion answered smirking. Thanks. Dash said hugging him. No problem, now you and Gilda have a chance to be friends once again and help that stubborn parrot to be a more likable girl. He said winking. Sorry if I want to keep our relationship secret, but for now I don't want to get too much attention on us, Dash said whispering. It's because I am a prince. I don't care about that. He whispered back. It's not that, just have patience for now, I just don't want people giving you troubles because you have a non-noble mare friend. She asked. Okay, but only because you asked. Because I don't like this. The stallion answered. Can you show us where is the place? We have lots to talk about. Dash asked. Follow the clone, he will take you there, Maelstrom answered as a shadow clone signaled them to follow. Once far away the stallion turned towards the main 6 and sighed. Can I ask you to give her a chance? We already decided to, dear. Don't worry, Rarity said smiling. Thank you. Okie dokie, we resolved this finally. I'll need to prepare a cake for Gilda's welcome party then. Pinkie said happily. Cake sounds good, do you mind if I help? Maelstrom answered smirking. You know how to cook. Cool, the pink pony said with a wide smile. Used to live by myself before coming here, I am no chef but I don't lack imagination. He said. We will leave you 2 chefs alone then, I still got a boutique to take care of. Rarity said laughing as she left for her shop. I need to go too, sorry, but I still need to check on my animals. Fluttershy muttered blushing before leaving. I'll go too. I still need to see where Spike has gone since Sumponi suggested him to have some fun without warning me, Twilight said while glaring at Maelstrom. Hoy, that guy needs to have fun too. He is not your slave, he answered. I know, I am just worried about him, the unicorn muttered as she walked away. Sorry, Maelstrom said. No, it's okay. Maybe I am making him overwork after all, she answered. Come on, our super pie won't prepare itself, Pinky said before dragging the stallion behind her. Okay, I am coming, he answered laughing. Sometime later, Rock Farm. Igneous Rock, Pinky's father, knew something was bad when a stallion of all people came visiting their home. He was not exactly an overprotective father by any means, but just like every other father he was still feeling kind of queasy at the idea of any male figure not family-tied spending too much time alone with his daughter. My dear, he is just helping with a secret project of Pinky. I don't think there is anything to worry about, they are just friends, that's all. The stallion's wife said for what must have been the 10th time in the last 30 minutes. I am not exactly worried, mind you. I am just keeping my ears open and my senses sharp as my rocks, Igneous answered even too much casually as he stalked closer to the kitchen door trying to appear nonchalant as Sumponi just passing by. Look, I trust you and I trust my daughter, and I will show you that there is nothing to be worried about, now listen. The mayor said huffing as both moved closer to the door to listen. Wow, that's huge, they heard Pinky say in wonder making her father splutter. You think? Maelstrom answered uncertain. I had always seen way smaller ones, or at least I never saw something like this in person, only on pictures. She answered giggling. In pictures? Where? Igneous mouthed with an horrified expression. SSSH. Quartz hissed. Do you think it will fit inside? Maelstrom asked, unknowingly making both parents go green in their face. Maybe cramming it in. You can try pushing hard until it enters all the way, Pinky answered. I am going to be sick, Igneous muttered between gauging sounds while his wife was too shocked to even breath. It would make a mess, Pinky. Stuff would splatter everywhere and make things too sticky. The stallion said in disgust from inside. That may be, but it still tastes good. I can't believe how much of that you can actually gobble down, doesn't all that stuff make you sick? He asked. What can I say? I am a glutton, she answered with a new giggle. Oh Celestia, Quartz said while sitting on the floor in shock. You know what? Whatever. Open wide so we can start in. Maelstrom was about to say when Igneous broke down the door in his haste to enter. What are you? Oh, you are making a pie. He, just a pie. The girl's father yelled before rapidly dropping everything once saw Maelstrom and Pinky covered from head to tail in floor with various splotches of chocolate here and there and a huge pie near them. Ahoo. I wanted to see if I could make the most biggest chocolate pie ever and Maelstrom helped me. Pinky answered with a wide smile. The problem is that we got so caught up in preparing it that we never considered how to actually have it fit in the oven. At least in the meantime I got some clones to clean up, like that you won't have a mess for a kitchen, the prince answered nodding. Ah, okay. I thought, it doesn't matter, but thank you for cleaning up everything, your highness. There was no need, Igneous said with a forced smile while trying to pretend he had never burst inside. Try cutting the thing in half and cook it like that, you can put it back together once done. Quartz added from outside with a relieved expression. Okay, Mum, Pinky said smiling and waving at her parents as they left the room. Nice ponies, Maelstrom muttered, shivering when Pinky licked his cheek. It needs more sugar, still good though. The pink pony said seriously. Please don't do that, the stallion said blushing. Yes please, don't. Quartz muttered gagging while Igneous kept hammering his head on a big rock to erase the images he had conjured in his head by himself during his spying. Pinky, Maelstrom said. Yes, she answered, surprised to watch him lick her cheek. Yep, you taste better than chocolate, I was right. The stallion said smirking before walking outside to use the garden hose to clean himself. Are you sure this won't backfire? Kurama asked. Like what? I was joking, she licked me and I licked her back. Maelstrom asked. Bah, whatever, your left wing, you still have some orange crust on that. The Biju answered. Behind them, unseen, Pinkie Pie had just momentarily turned into tomato pie, as her whole body had took a deep red color out of embarrassment. Shaking her head strongly, she joined the stallion for a throughout cleaning. Done that, the young stallion offered himself as an helper in the shop. The element of laughter worked in, as a way to spend some time while waiting for Dash to resolve her issues with Gilda. I was wondering, he said during a moment of quiet after the last client left. Yes, Pinkie asked back. Your mane, is it made of cotton candy? I swear it looks exactly like that. Maelstrom asked while pointing at her mane and then at the small cloud of pink sugar resting in a corner of the counter. No, silly. Otherwise people would always try to eat it, she answered, giggling. You sure? He asked with narrowed eyes. Ahoo. This is all mane, but I do love making look like cotton candy. It's all fluffy and sweet. I don't believe you. Come on. Let me taste it, the stallion said, smirking while trying to catch her. Never. My cotton, I mean mane, is mine alone, Pinkie said dramatically. I knew it. It is made of sugar. Come on, just a morsel, he asked while still chasing the giggling mare. Nu Yua. It's all mine, she answered, smiling while dodging him. Both kept chasing each other in the small shop until a very amused Miss Cake came out from the back. Sorry if I interrupt your oh so important game, but I need a cool, strong stallion to take out of storage some sacks of sugar since my beloved husband this time has managed to found a believable excuse to not do that himself. The mare asked, smirking. I am coming, Cake-san. Where should I put them? And how many? Maelstrom asked. 2 sacks would be wonderful if you don't mind. Just take those out and put them on the table, she answered. I'll do that, he answered, nodding before leaving the two alone. So? Miss Cake asked. So, Pinkie replied. To when the wedding. I'll make you a nice price on the cake, the elder mare said, smirking deviously. Eep. Is not like that. We are just friends, Pinkie answered immediately. Me and my husband too have been just friends years ago. You two look so cute together and seem to both enjoy playing and have fun. And he is also a prince that for some reason Celestia only knows, no pun intended, is not a stuck-up fool, so why not? Miss Cake asked. I don't need a cult friend. We are just friend and I am happy like that, Pinkie answered, smiling. You sure? Sure. Really, really, the mare pressed with a knowing smile. Okay, I like to play with him, so what? Pinkie admitted. Only playing. Yes. That's not very convincing, and you yourself know that, Miss Cake said, laughing at the girl's flustered face. Hoy, something wrong? Maelstrom asked once rejoined the two on the front of the store. Just a little friendly teasing about Pinkie's love life. She fears that her target won't take her seriously, Miss Cake answered. I never said that, Pinkie replied, shocked. But you were thinking it, the other said. That is not true, Pinkie answered, pouting. Don't listen to her, she is doing this on purpose to get a reaction from you, Maelstrom said as he moved one of his wings to cover her in a friendly hug. People used to do the same to me and never listened to what I said. Sure, maybe my perennial smiling and pranking wasn't helping, but hey. At least I was trying, making others happy. Just like you, he then said, smiling. Me? And who else? Never had so much fun at a party like when taking part to one of yours. You are simply amazing in bringing out smiles. One of the kindest and most caring girls I have ever met, especially with cotton candy mane sweetening the deal. The stallion answered. Again with the cotton candy, enough with that, you meanie. Pinkie answered with her biggest smile. Enough pleasantries, I need help putting the new orders in the oven, mind helping me, Pinkie? My husband should finally be back any moment so we will be able to release our poor hostage. Miss Cake said, sounding strangely proud to Maelstrom's ears. I was happy to help you, Cake-san. Please ask me again if you ever need help, the stallion said with a little bow of his head. May as well, saying that a prince baked our biscuits kind of help selling them, ha 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 ha. The mare said, making the stallion chuckle in answer. If you say so. See you around, Pinkie? He asked. Okay. Until next time, the pink mare answered, waving at his retreating form. See, he enjoys your parties and you specifically. You'll thank me the next time, Miss Cake said proudly. I won't answer to that provocation, Pinky muttered while moving on the back of the shop, trying to suppress certain ideas about turning one of her friends into something more. I have a strange feeling of dread. I just hope that it is not something I am the cause for. The brat can mess around all he wants, but I would prefer remain clean, thank you very much. Kurama thought while in the seal before curling into a tighter ball to try ignore the uneasiness tickling at the back of his head. Omake, experimenting new things. It was a new day in Ponyville, the sky was clear, birds were chirping happily and the warm rays of the sun seemed to do their worst to make the various ponies struggle with the idea of just lying down on the grass to do nothing. MMMMMMH. And it was also a new day of flying lessons between Maelstrom Night and Rainbow Dash. MMMMMMH. Lesson that is usual finished with the two resting on a lonely cloud to catch their breath before moving to a more interesting, from their point of view, round of face-sucking, also known as kissing. I don't think I will ever stop enjoying this, Dash muttered as she snuggled closer to the stallion with a content smile. Me neither, but why keeping everything a secret? He answered. I want to be selfish, and keep my cold friend all to myself, she answered smirking. You are a bad girl, you know. The stallion said chuckling. So what? I may be the element of loyalty, but this doesn't mean I have to always share the goods. If you say so. Hey, I was wondering, Maelstrom said uncertain. Yes. There is something I wish to try, can we? Try something. And what is it? Dash asked. Apparently something cooler even than that kind of kissing, he said blushing. Do tell, she answered eagerly. You sure? Do it. If it's another awesome thing like that then I am very willing to try. Dash said with a furious nod. Okay, brace yourself, Maelstrom said before flipping the girl on her back. What are you doing? She asked confused. In my old world they would jokingly call this, tasting the rainbow, should make you feel good. The stallion answered while trailing small kisses down her neck, on her chest and stomach and then continue always lower, making the Pegasus grow red-faced once understood where he was going. Wait, under there is my. I don't she said in alarm until he started, making her eyes go wider and wider until. Elemental countries, Konoha, Hokage Tower. It was a new day in Konoha. The sky was clear, birds were chirping happily and the warm rays of the sun seemed to do their worst to make the various shinobi struggle with the idea of just lying down on the grass to do nothing. Especially their dear Hokage Kakashi Hatake, naturally born lazy ass. That quiet moment of peace though went drastically interrupted when a faraway sound shocked the whole village, breaking every form of glass present in there. Same thing also happening in every other village. Oh my goosh. What the fuck was that? Kakashi yelled with wide eyes while looking out the window in confusion. Back in Equestria. Maelstrom was silently looking with horrified eyes the result of his work, while unconsciously still licking his lips. Oh, God, I think I killed her. He muttered with wide eyes. UGHBLBLBLBLB. Dash moaned with vacant eyes while drooling, mumbling incoherently and trembling in micro-shocks of pleasure. Luckily the former shinobi still had Kurama in the seal ready to disperse his wisdom coming from his being a biju created by the sage of the six paths himself Hagoromo Utatsuki. Try poking her with a stick. The biju said uncertain. 1 hour later, Sugar Cube Corner, after a short visit to a doctor paid to keep everything secret. Hoi Dash, how went with your flying lessons? Applejack asked, curious at seeing the Pegasus stumble inside with a dumb smile literally frozen on her face. Good. It went good. A lot of nice things went very, very good. Dash answered with a very excited tone. You okay? You sound, kind of like in overdrive. Twilight asked, curious. Who? Me. I am fine, a bit overwhelmed, but I am fine. Just tried something new, she answered immediately. Cool down, girl. You look like a filly in a sugar rush. Gilda said smirking. Oh okay, Dash said taking a deep breath and literally deflating to take a seat. You are all wobbly now. Hi, you look like jelly, Pinky said giggling. Just a little weak on the legs, the rainbow-maned Pegasus said, sighing longingly. This is strange. Did Maelstrom do something strange? Twilight asked with narrowed eyes. Maelstrom. Mine. I mean, no. We have just tried some new tricks. Some new, awesome tricks, of the kind that blows the mind, and makes you wonder what heaven tastes like. Dash answered while walking away in a zombie-like fashion. Wow, that was unexpected, Twilight said, surprised. She probably just needs some rest, nothing to worry about. Rarity answered with a calm smile. I'll go ask instead. That sounded like something interesting. Gilda said, smirking before hurrying out. TCH. Griffins, never knowing when minding their own businesses. Rarity said, sighing dramatically. Talk's the biggest gossiper, O Ponyville. Applejack muttered. What was that, dear? Nothing. It wouldn't be the last or only time Dash would appear in Ponyville with a similar expression, but even stranger would be see both Maelstrom and Dash walk around the small town with a look of total bliss etched on the faces. When asked, neither would give more details than an off-hoof comment about their newfound appreciation for numbers. Especially the 69 for some reason, all for other ponies' confusion. Omake to Hinata vs the Marum Mare Harem takes place after the Naruto Mare 6 Trixie in place of Rarity pairing is confirmed. Elemental Countries, Konoha. Wait, let me see if I got this. You want to challenge us? Twilight Sparkle said with narrowed eyes, nor her or the other element bearers hiding their being ponies just like Maelstrom. Yes, Hinata growled in answer. Why? Applejack asked, dumbfounded. He should have been mine. Everyone knows how the manga ends. Why you six had to change things? The Hyuga woman said, enraged. Not everyone was happy about it, so I guess those are okay about us staying with him, Dash answered with a smug grin while nuzzling the embarrassed stallion. Screw the Naruhina haters. I challenge you six. For the right to stay with him, Hinata said, crossing her arms. He is an alicorn and you an human. I don't think it will work between you two. Rarity said with a raised eyebrow. You can't change me into a pony. You did it with him. The human woman asked bitterly. Princess Celestia could do that because he was a pony at the beginning. We just returned him to his true body. We can't do that with you. Who do you think we are? A conversion bureau? Twilight asked, annoyed. I don't care. I still want to challenge you, even just to know who's best between us. Hinata answered. Ya know what? The hey, if I am going to listen to another whining, ya have a challenge. Applejack said with narrowed eyes. Good. In what do you want us to face off? The Hyuga woman asked. Eating contest. He likes that ramen stuff, right? I bet I can eat more than ya, but vegetarian if ya don't mind. The Earth Pony answered. Ah, I am the only one that can out-eat Naruto-kun. You have already lost. Hinata said proudly. We'll see, Sugar Cube, we'll see. AJ said, smirking. 3 minutes later. Say 75, Kakashi said in awe once the contest was over. Yup, that was darn good. Now I see why y'all love this stuff. Taste awesome, Applejack said while daintily cleaning her mouth with an handkerchief before joining the cheering group of mares to kiss Maelstrom's cheek. I. Boer P. I am not defeated yet. Hinata moaned from her place at the counter, her 60 bulls looking almost ashamed themselves at the defeat. Who's next? Twilight asked. Fluttershy. I think she is 100 times more cute than her when doing her shy thing, Dash said, smirking. Oomph. As if. People adores me when I poke my fingers and mutter, Naruto-kun. I get an increase in popularity just from that in every episode. Hinata said. Pete, please don't pull me into this. I don't like being in the center of attention, Fluttershy muttered as she tried to hide her heavily blushing face behind her own mane. The effect was instantaneous as even the most battle-hardened, sadistic mean bastard shinobi of Konoha squealed in answer at the impossibly cute image, fuck. Even Sasuke had left out a stricken, "Dia. That's cute," after a mere 3 seconds of exposure. Nope, I guess this counts as a victory for the shy one, and is by reflex. Trixie said, smirking while adding another point to the pony team counter. Guh. Hinata groaned in disbelief as he fell on all four with an aura of despair around her. You can still do this, Oni-sama. Hanabi said, trying to cheer up her big sister. I am next then if you don't mind. Twilight said. I can do this, what's the challenge? Hinata asked. A simple quiz, beauty is not everything you know. Being smart too can be sexy, and he likes when I play teacher, if you catch my drift. The unicorn said smirking. So be it. Choose what we will have our quiz about. The Hyuga woman said seething in anger. I'll help you, we'll answer questions about this world and its shinobi villages, Twilight answered as Shikamaru Nara moved between them to act as referee. 10 minutes later. Boo you hoo. Hinata wailed while getting consoled by Ino and Sakura, the scoreboard above them not helping in the woman's despair. Hinata. -120. Twilight sparkle. 12,527. Didn't know someone could go into negative numbers, Tsunade muttered. Me neither. Kakashi answered. That's it. If I can't have him, no one will. Yandere assault no jutsu. Hinata screamed in rage as she pulled the cord of a devilish chainsaw she took out of thin air. Rune. Maelstrom yelled as he and the others escaped the madly laughing Hyuga flay. Other shinobi tried to stop the snapped clan heiress. But I didn't get to compete. Pinky said with a whine. Just shut up and run. Dash yelled as they managed to enter the portal Celestia created for them just in time to escape. Canterlot. Night. Castle. The moon had just fully rose to the sky, although somehow, slower than usual. Some of the more observant ponies still around noticed, when both Luna and Maelstrom could be seen walk through the corridors of the castle while talking, the princess of the night alternating a tale of the prince's past to a small lesson either about magic or how to rule a country. Very good, you managed to follow my magic and help me rise the moon, you are doing wonderful progresses, Luna said smiling. Thank you, mother. Maelstrom answered grinning, he knew he would never stop feeling good at calling her like that. Once understood how to teach you, your results started showing, it means that we can reach even better results. She said. The last 2 months had been the hardest of my life though, the stallion answered. Don't say that, otherwise I will start believing it to be true. Luna said shaking her head before sighing as she stopped in front of a particular window, isolated from the others and highly decorated. Are those 3? Maelstrom muttered sadly. Me, you and your father, yes. Celestia had it installed shortly before she banished the 2 of us. She answered sighing, surprised to feel her son move one of his wings to cover her back, making her nuzzle his neck with a sob. We look good, the blonde stallion said as he leaned his head on top of his mother's, both looking at the image of a soldier and an alicorn playing with a small Pegasus colt under the full moon. I miss him so much. Luna muttered. Me too, I would have loved to be with him as well. Do you think he would have hated knowing that I grow up as an human? Maelstrom asked. Your father never once regretted a single choice he made, it was one of the things I always admired of him, and he loved you dearly as I did and still do. I bet that even now he is proud of you, and probably even happy to know that as an human as well you had been with people ready to die for you no matter your not being their real son, Luna answered as she moved away from the stallion to kiss his forehead. I'll be always with you, no matter what. I won't abandon you, Maelstrom said smiling. Sigh. Just look at you, all grow up and handsome, how long before a mare comes to take you away from me? Luna answered, grabbing her son's face with both her hands to better look at him. I was serious about not leaving you, you will always be the most important pony to me, and even then, very few mares can compete with you. You are just too cute, the blonde stallion answered smirking, carefully not mentioning that Dash was still at the top of his list of mares, though. Ooh, my little Maelstrom is still a mama's colt. I am glad, but don't say those embarrassing things. It may go over my head otherwise. The moon alicorn answered before crushing her son in a strong hug. Just telling the truth, the blonde stallion answered, happy to see his mother back into a more positive mood. Up in the heavens. That's my boy, keep your mother safe and stay always by her side, I know you will protect her well, Fierce Storm, a pony with white fur and blonde mane, said with a proud smile. He is a good boy, don't worry as he will do the impossible to keep everyone safe, another voice said as a blonde human sat near the stallion. Minato, your gods decided to let you go then? Storm asked as he nodded at the human. After what I did to help against Kagaya they deemed a prize for my help was necessary, and so, ever so annoyed, the Shinigami decided to spit me out. Sorry if I have stolen your son for a while. Minato answered with 2 bottles of sake appearing in his hands. He still grew up into a respectable pony. I kept watching over the 2 of them all the same, and as an human he did look like you, so I don't think it would have been hard for him to believe to be your son, Storm answered as he grabbed one of the bottles with his mouth to take a swing before gagging at the strong flavor. Sake of Iwa, goes down like water and then it kicks you right in the stomach, but the similarities between me and him were all Celestia's work. She used some of my blood to shape Naruto's human body, to make him blend in better, and I guess the spiky hairstyle ended up influencing his true body as well. Unfortunately his looking like me didn't help me not growing attached to him. Minato answered sighing. And I am not angry about it, he had lost a father when he was barely able to walk by himself. I hoped he would have grown up with at least his mother, but the 2 had not been possible. I am happy to see that had nothing happened in the elemental countries you would have cared for him as if he was your own son until his time to come back had arrived, the stallion said smiling. He made me proud several times and he still does in fact. Same here, Storm said as both smiling fathers took a swing of sake at the same time. But his kissing skills obviously come from me, Minato then said smugly. As if he is all his father's son, I too could drive mares mad with desire with a mere kiss, Storm replied with narrowed eyes. Oh, really? Does Luna-san know about that? The 4th Hokage countered. I could ask the same, is Lady Kushina aware of your claim as a womanizer? The royal guard asked back. TCH. As if I believe that. By the way, Luna-san seems a fine mare, so I bet she gave you that first date only out of pity. Minato said as he moved to glare at the pony. How dare you? At least I didn't play fool just to attract the attention of a woman clearly above my chances like Madame Kushina was for you. It took a ponanapping for her to notice that you could be a serious man too. Storm answered growling. Oh, you put it like that now, At least I never used the same cheesy lines you used to woo Luna-san. Really, did you copy them from a box of chocolate? They were pathetic, Minato said between clenched teeth. Oh, because complimenting a woman's hair is any better. Very suave, human, Storm answered. Now both man and stallion were pressing their foreheads together to growl at each other. Shut up, you mule, Minato yelled angrily. Mule, you are just an ignorant, hairless ape and you dare mock me. That's it, I am going to show you how my hooves are not just here for show. Storm roared in rage. Come and get me then. I'll kick your ass so hard you'll choke on my sandals. Minato answered, and with a duo of war cries both human and pony jumped each other to give start to a fierce no-holds-barred beatdown. Sigh. I swear, somehow Naruto-kun has inherited both their temper. How is that possible? Kushina said with a defeated sigh as various souls of pony and humans tried to separate the 2 furious fighters that had somehow forgot their respective ways of fighting to just kick and bite each other like struggling kids. Back in Canterlot. Now, it's time for us to talk about more serious matters, Luna said with narrowed eyes as both returned to walk. More serious matters? Maelstrom asked as a pair of night guards passed by them, causing him turn his head to follow the 2 mares, making them giggle and wink at him. Exactly, the Moon Princess said bitterly, making the 2 guards trot rapidly away with a glare. Mother. Are you, Maelstrom? Sigh. Are you a flanked guy? Luna asked in worry. A flanked guy? The stallion asked back confused. I saw you just now, you were looking at those 2's backside. She said. What? No, the blonde answered, shaking his head wildly. Don't lie to me, I saw you, even with Celestia. She is trying to entice you back into loving her with those dirty tricks. I knew it, Luna said with a gasp of horror. No, what are you saying? Maelstrom yelled in embarrassment. You are not looking for a mare friend, right? Right, the Moon Alicorn asked with wide eyes. Mother, he said with a worried tone. You can't spend time with girls. You are cute and studly, they will kiss you. And then you will hug each other and then. Luna said with a gag of revulsion before hugging the life out of her son. Maybe you are exaggerating, Maelstrom muttered with a muffled voice from his mother's neck. You have not a mere friend, right? You are not going around dating when in Ponyville in your free days from being a guard, right? Luna asked with a pleading tone. No, mother. I am not going on dates with girls. The stallion answered. The next day, Ponyville. Maelstrom and Dash could be seen walking through the small town chatting amicably and sometimes even laughing loudly at some internal joke of theirs, almost like a date was the reason behind it. And in truth it was, but not one of the ones watching knew that. So, how are things going with Gilda? He asked while adjusting the bag on his back filled by books the girl had bought. Pretty good, the others are still a little stiff when around her, not that she helps them with her attitude, but we are getting there, Dash answered as the duo walked towards the apartment the rainbow-maned Pegasus shared with the griffin. I am happy to hear that, she is a cool girl once you get to know her, the stallion answered. She keeps pestering me for details about what we do though, she still insists we should tell every pony that we are together. Dash said sighing. Hey, it's okay, as long as you are not embarrassed about me being the cult friend I can stay put and keep everything a secret, Maelstrom answered. You know that I am not ashamed of that, come here. Dash said before opening the door of the apartment and signaling him to move closer. Yes, he asked as he inched forward. The answer was a quick kiss that soon evolved into a more fierce tongue war of several minutes before both had to separate to breath, both smiling at the quite exhilarating thrill of having a secret relationship. I need to cover the turn of a friend today, meet you tonight for a midnight fly. Dash asked, sighing happily as he nuzzled her neck to cover it in small kisses. Sounds kind of romantic, count me in, my rainbow princess. Maelstrom muttered nodding. Okay, I'll be around Cloudsdale if you need me, she said. And I'll be helping Fluttershy with her animals instead. You are not cheating on me, are you? Dash asked with narrowed eyes. She just remembers me of an old friend, that's all. There is no need to be jealous. Maelstrom answered smirking. I am not jealous. The Pegasus answered pouting. Good, because I like only one girl, and that is you. He answered. Just shut up and go before I drag you inside and we spend the rest of the day doing nothing but snuggling, she answered with a smirk and a blush before pushing him outside. You make it sound like a bad idea. Just go, you silly teaser, and my eyes are on the front, remember. Dash said as she walked inside before briefly turning to wink at the stallion. I was not watching your flank, Maelstrom answered immediately. Yeah, and I have not wings, she answered laughing and taking her bag away from his back, this time waving her tail left and right teasingly as she walked before slamming the door closed right on the blonde's face. I am not one of those guys. He muttered. Oh, no you aren't. It's just that this world's girls have asses with magnetic powers that attract your eyes towards their against your will, Kurama answered smirking. Oh, do shut up, furball. The stallion said in anger. Some time later, Fluttershy's forest, also known as her house's garden. Fluttershy was feeling nervous, it had been months since the blonde stallion started helping her with the animals and she still could not feel at ease with him. Hoy, just a minute, at least give me enough time to fill the plates. Maelstrom said smirking while preparing the plates of seeds for the various birds flying around him. It was not like he made jokes about her shyness or the fact she hardly spoke a word or two with him, he seemed just happy to help her and answer whatever rare question she happened to blurt out, and he just didn't seem to find her annoying for that or the silence they both shared while working. Done. The birds too have their food, he said with a nod of satisfaction as he walked close to her. Thank you, she muttered looking down. I am not going to eat you, you know. He said chuckling. What? You act like if you fear me to fight you. I won't, the stallion answered with a gentle smile before moving towards another group of animals clearly waiting for their fill. For some reason her animals had been pretty open with him, not from the beginning, but they did open up to him pretty fast. He had explained it was thanks to his being a toad sage giving him a stronger link to nature itself and that probably her animals could sense that. The only exception was Angel Bunny that was still wary with him, but the rabbit always was with every pony that was not Fluttershy herself. I am sorry, she muttered. Nah, it's fine, the first time you saw me I started fighting with Nightmare Moon and demolished half the town. I too would think of some pony like that as a brute, it's okay. He answered shrugging. No it is not. It's very rude on my side, and I am sorry if I made you feel uncomfortable, Fluttershy said. Don't worry about that, you remember me of Hinata, she is just as shy as you, or used to, she is finally getting out of her shell. So I don't mind seeing you act like that, it brings back good memories. Maelstrom answered grinning. Is she, the human girl you wished to date before coming here? The Pegasus asked. Oh, and how do you know about that? The prince asked curious. Well, Rarity and Twilight were helping Princess Luna when she was feeling down from your escape. And the princess talked about the several humans you know, and she mentioned that human girl, and then Rarity told us and. Fluttershy answered nervous, her face getting redder at each word. Hoy, calm down, your face is going to catch fire if you get any redder, cute it may be, but all that red can't be healthy. The stallion said before playfully nudging her a little. It's okay, I am not angry. Just surprised, he then said with a reassuring tone. Oh, okay, she answered nodding. Now, everyone has a plate full in front, bears have been massaged, foxes seems happy. Maelstrom said while looking around with narrowed eyes. They get very happy when you are around somehow, Fluttershy added. I have a huge one sealed inside me, maybe they can feel Kurama's presence. The blonde stallion answered. I would like to meet Mr. Kurama. The mare muttered. Really? Why not? The other answered. Don't you dare, Kurama said from the seal. There is no need. Listen to the pony. Don't bring her here. I am a badass war machine and I won't be pet by a pastel-colored pony. The Bijou warned again with a growling voice. Don't be like that, maybe some pony like you will crack his grumpy attitude, Maelstrom answered while skillfully ignoring the nine-tailed fox. I don't think. You don't trust me, he asked with his saddest expression. Oh okay, but no pranks. Fluttershy said. Deal, the stallion answered. I am so fucking hating you right now. Kurama muttered with narrowed eyes. How do we do it? She asked. Look into my eyes and relax, I'll do the rest. Okay, the mare answered nodding. This is for my comment about you looking at the girls' asses, right? It's definitely your revenge for that. The Bijou muttered easily ignored by the alicorn. Empty your mind, I never tried this before so it may make you feel a little nauseous, just bear with it, Maelstrom whispered. Inside the seal, few minutes later. With a small tumbling of an hard landing both Alicorn and Pegasus reached the by now waterless sewer system representing the seal, Maelstrom sporting a satisfied smile while Fluttershy just stumbled a little to get up. Well, I'll be damned. It worked, he said amazed. It doesn't look like a nice place. The mare muttered. Sorry, my body has pretty much set on functionality, more than comfort. The stallion said in embarrassment. Your body? Fluttershy asked. Yep, the tubes are my coils, physical energy, spiritual energy, magic, and the third ones are the chakra ones, he explained as he walked forward. I didn't mean to offend, she answered immediately. You say, sorry, too much, just like Hinata, don't worry about it, should something you say really hurt me I will tell you flat out, otherwise don't worry, but yes, I admit this place is not nice, but it was even worse before, so it doesn't suck as much now. Maelstrom answered chuckling. He compared me again with that human girl he used to like, he doesn't keep coming to help me just for that, right? Oh, my gosh, what if he tries to go out with me? I never was in a relationship before. What should I do? Fluttershy thought in worry. Let's see, to the right, no, left, it was left. She saw him mutter while walking in front of her. What happened with that girl then? Now that you are a pony? The Pegasus asked. She was heartbroken, and so was I, but in the end we both accepted the fact that I would have stayed in horse for the rest of my life. She was not happy, but once we finally talked about it we decided to treasure the very few good memories we had together and move on. As very good friends, but nothing more than that, for obvious reasons, he answered sighing. I am sorry to hear that, Fluttershy answered walking faster so to be at his side. It's okay, we just wished we had started sooner to date, but at least like this it hurt less, even just a little bit. Maelstrom said shaking his head. Do you think she will find somebody else? I really hope so, I still want to see her happy, he answered with a sad smile. And what about you? Fluttershy asked, managing to sound neutral out of some sort of miracle she could not fathom. I don't want to talk about it, he answered, his smile turning into a smirk this time. Mare has already caught your attention then? She asked nervous. That's a secret, the stallion answered. Oh my gosh, I was right. I remember him, that girl, so he might like me for the same reasons. What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? Fluttershy thought in absolute panic. She had a suspect already when she learned how he used to steal glances at her flank every now and then, especially since Angel had took to kick him every time he did that, so she knew the stallion was looking at her whenever she could hear him yelp in surprise, and while somehow flattering, it didn't help her feeling anxious when near him, but this was adding a new meaning to the thing. The problem was that a small, traitorous part of her didn't seem to mind either. This was so wrong, especially since he was a prince, and Luna's son. What if his mother was contrary to the thing? Would the princess banish her on the moon? And if she was completely wrong instead? It would be so shameful to ask him about it and have Maelstrom answer that it was all in Fluttershy's head instead. Ooh, the shame if that was true, but even then, should he really feel something, why her then? She was not strong, or sure of herself, or particularly smart, or Tershi. Fluttershy, can you hear me? The blonde stallion asked in worry, his voice finally cutting through the chaos in her head. What? She asked. Found the furry idiot, he was hiding. Come on, Furball, say hi, Maelstrom said before yelling to the black void in front of the two. I am not coming out, came the booming voice of the fox. Come on, we have guests, don't do the usual bastard and come out, the blonde replied. Sigh, fine. But after this, no more tourists, Kurama said with a grumble as he walked towards the duo with thundering steps until he was completely visible. Ooh, Fluttershy said in wonder as she walked closer. Yeah, I am awesome, thank you for noticing it, Kurama said smirking. Your ears are so cute. Just like the ones of a bunny, the mare said happily, making Maelstrom burst into a fit of mad laughing. The first thing you noticed are the ears. Ooh, this is just rich. The mighty Kyuubi recognized for his fluffy ears. Biwahahahahaha, the stallion said with watering eyes and troubled breathing from all his laughing. I am so going to eat you, Naruto, Kurama muttered with a venom-coated voice. Don't listen to him, Mr. Kurama, your ears are really cute and fluffy. And I do like them, Fluttershy answered with a gentle smile. And now she is baby talking him. A faraway echo said in amusement, heard only by Kurama and Maelstrom. That was Matabi. Is the connection within Naruto still working? No. The Biju thought in panic. It's all okay, Mr. Kurama. I am right here, Fluttershy said as she hugged his hand, one of his fingers actually due to the colossal size of the fox, to pet him. Stop, I have a reputation, why you can't treat me like a newborn kit? Kurama said in horror as the laughs of the other Biju now echoed the laughing of Maelstrom at his expenses. SSSH. It's all okay, I am not going to laugh at you, Mr. Kurama. I am your friend, the mare said with a maternal tone as she caressed his fur. It's so warm and soft. She then added, nuzzling her face in his paw. Maybe we should go. Hoo. We disturbed his nap after all, Maelstrom said while barely biting down his laughs. Ooh, poor dear, do you need something then? A blanket or a pillow, and huge one of course, Fluttershy said in worry. Why not a teddy bear? PFFFT ha 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 ha. The voice of the seven-tailed Biju echoed in the back of Kurama's head before a new round of laughs started all over again. Yep, definitely time to go. Bye, Furball, Maelstrom said rapidly after noticing the heavy tick surfacing on Kurama's eye. You think he would mind if I sing him a lullaby? The mare asked while looking at the stallion and so missing the fox, glare at her promising absolute agony and pain should she really try to sing a lullaby for him. Nah, we just need to go, we still have a lot of things to do, he answered, now worried himself that the Biju would revert into his old, mass-murdering killing machine, mindset any moment. You were right. Goodbye, Mr. Kurama. Sleep well and don't fear nightmares. They are only bad dreams, Fluttershy said before both disappeared from the seal. RGH. Once sure no one was around, Kurama drew back his head to let out a scream of utter rage that would have had even Kagaya run away in fear. Back in the real world. Here we are. And not a minute passed here while we were inside, just pure awesomeness made seal, Maelstrom said happily as soon as both he and the mare returned from their short trip. Mr. Kurama seems like a nice fox, I am happy to have met him, Fluttershy said with a little smile. Fuck you, Kurama grumbled in answer. He said he was happy to meet you himself, the stallion answered smirking. The two kept walking until the young mare started lagging behind with a doubtful expression. She muttered looking down. Spit it out, I am all ears. He asked moving closer. I was going to Applejack for some apples, do you mind, accompany me? Fluttershy asked. That's it. Oh my gosh, I was too direct. Now he'll think that I am trying something. Even then, why I am nervous about it. I shouldn't be happy of him accepting, right? Or I should. Oh, Celestia, this is too complicated. The mare though in horror before his chuckle shocked her. Apples. Why not? Was wondering what to have as a snack. After you, milady. Maelstrom answered with a smile and a deep bow. Oh okay. Follow me. Fluttershy answered nodding. 1 hour later. Well, I'll be darned, did they plant new ones? I swear there were less tree last time I was here, Maelstrom muttered in surprise at seeing that no matter how far he looked the line of apple trees seemed to go on forever. Yup, we of the apple family take great pride in our acres, but no new trees planted yet. A new voice said in clear smugness. Mr. Big Macintosh, did we chose a bad moment? Fluttershy asked. Nah, it's never a bad moment to visit, ya know that. Especially when all the family is reunited, Big Mac answered with a wide smile. Big Mac, I think it's time you let me taste some apples instead of just bucking them, ya cheap flank. The blonde stallion said smirking. Ya were repayin' AJ for the help in making ya see reason, she wanted to punish ya, so no apples. The other answered as the two bumped hooves. So you helped them as well? Fluttershy asked as the three walked towards the biggest group of ponies. A little, first by bucking trees and then by helping with the baskets. I had the bad idea of using clones and AJ and Big Mac here immediately started abusing it, Maelstrom said with a theatrical sigh making the earth pony with them laugh. 1,000 helpers on tap. It would have been a waste not to use them. Big Mac answered grinning. 1,000, how many clones can you do? Fluttershy asked. Made a bet with Shikamaru once about my total limit before I drop exhausted. He answered embarrassed. And, Big Mac asked. We lost count after 1 million and just decided to set the whole number to a lot, and be happy with that, the stallion answered sighing, completely ignoring the bulged-out eyes of the other two. Yup, that's a lot of clones. The earth pony muttered with a weak chuckle. Any further argument stopped when a small filly-shaped bullet slammed on Maelstrom's chest with a squealing cry of, "Boss!" making him fall down on the grass with said young filly hugging his chest with a wide smile. Bloom, the three heard Applejack say as she neared them. What happened? Maelstrom asked with a wheezing voice from his place on the grass. A filly happened, AJ answered with narrowed eyes. Boss, what are you doing here? Apple Bloom asked. Decided to finally get some darn apples here since I almost broke my back while working here without getting any, he answered as he finally got free to stand up. Nothing else? The filly asked teasingly. Well, meeting a certain cutie Mark Crusader might have helped me decide, he answered smirking. I was referring to Applejack. Aren't you here to see her? Bloom asked confused. Bloom, what the hey are you saying? Applejack yelled with wide eyes. Ha 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 ha, oh boy, does she like to put you into embarrassing situations? Maelstrom answered laughing. No pony noticed the worried expression on Fluttershy's face melt as soon as AJ started denying everything. We are just friends, Bloom. He helps me with debucking and nothing else. The mare said. I didn't know that y'all were a liar, Big Mac muttered smirking. Not you too. Between Bloom and Granny Smith I don't know what to do anymore. AJ said in despair. Why does Bloom call you boss? Fluttershy asked, trying to change subject, hoping to make the strange ache in her chest fade away. This one here is apparently helping Bloom and her friends to find their talents and gain their cutie mark, Applejack answered. He. Guilty. They remember me too much, my friends Konohamaru, Moegi and Udon, to not help them, after being the boss for the members of the Konohamaru Corps. Being that for the Crusaders was nothing different, and I still find a lot of fun at playing ninja, so I didn't see a problem in that, Maelstrom answered, shrugging. A ninja playing ninja? Mac asked, smirking. Yeah, the irony is not lost to me, but is still a lot of fun, the blonde stallion answered. When we started calling him boss we didn't understand why he kept laughing, then he told us why. But we can't still find our talents no matter what we do. Bloom said, sighing. We'll need to keep trying then, if you want you can count on me, Maelstrom answered. Thank you, boss. Come on, I'll present you the rest of the family. The filly said, latching to his tail to pull him. Bloom, he and Fluttershy are not here for that, let them have some apples and then leave, Big Mac said. Oh, you were on a date? Bloom said, shocked. Eep, Shy shrieked in answer. We are not going on a date, we are just friends, Maelstrom said, playfully bumping her on the head with his hoof. Good, otherwise AJ would have been jealous. The filly said with narrowed eyes. Eep, the farm mare shrieked in embarrassment. Don't listen to her, she is just reading all those sappy books Sweetie Belle gives her. AJ then added rapidly. It's okay. Konohamaru too kept asking me about random girls being my mare friends, I am used to that, he answered. Ah, I got it. You are trying to woo both so to have two mare friends at the same time. Bloom said in realization. Double eep. Both AJ and Shy yelled at the same time. You are doing that on purpose now. Maelstrom said, trying to look stern, even if the barely restrained quirks of his lips showed how hard he was fighting the urge to smirk. Maybe, the filly answered with a mischievous smile. Come here, I'll buck ya so hard you'll land in Manhattan. AJ roared in fury as she chased Bloom away. Sorry, Fluttershy muttered, making the alicorn sigh. Again with that, sorry. I am not angry, as I said. Bloom was doing exactly what my friend used to, asking random girls if they were my girlfriend in the hope to put me into trouble, and just like him the result is instead the girl chasing Bloom in anger. I am the one that is sorry, I hope you are not offended, he answered, shaking his head. No, don't worry, I am not offended, Fluttershy answered, smiling gently. See, all better when you smile. Now, where do you people keep those darned apples? I have an hole in my stomach that needs to be filled. Maelstrom asked with a whine. This way, ya fool. Just 'cause like that y'all stop winnin'. Big Mac said with a snort before escorting the alicorn towards the rest of the apple family. Oh, gosh, he likes my smile as well. What now? What do I do? Oh. And that was yet another moment of crisis for Fluttershy as she trotted behind the two stallions. Other than that small moment of anger between Bloom and Applejack, things continued fairly well, surprising Maelstrom with how friendly and most of all vast the apple family was with the sheer number of members. Ya have to think like this, Ma family is one of the most ancient in here, Ma ancestors actually helped in the founding o' Ponyville. Big Mac explained. Whoa, cool, so in a way a lot of people are more or less related to you. The alicorn asked in wonder. Yup, almost everyone has an apple member somewhere in their family, maybe even you. Like a grandfather or a great-grandmother lost somewhere in one of those fancy tapestries. The art pony answered, laughing. I'll need to remember to check. The blonde stallion muttered. That you do. Come, I want to introduce you to Uncle Jobs, he always says that he will make the Apple brand famous. Ah. That crazy pony, did you know he started working in a garage? Big Mac said as he guided Maelstrom towards other ponies to introduce them to him. Meanwhile this was happening, Applejack was doing the perfect impression of an apple as her face was just as red as one while Granny Smith and other elders kept asking embarrassing questions about her love life. Ya sure that he is not here for you? He always smile whenever ya are close. One of the old mares in there said with a knowing smile. That is not true. We are just friends, AJ answered in denial. You are the element of honesty, right? It means that telling lies is not your forte. An old horse added laughing. Do you know how many of the family are known to have impregnated their future spouses when they bring them to the family reunions, right after introducing them? It was such a normal occurrence that for a while it had become an unspoken rule, so if you want some privacy with him, I dare say that the barn or de West Field would be perfect, as long as you keep it down, he. Granny Smith said, winking. Granny, what the heck are you sayin'? The element of honesty yelled with wide eyes. There is also the old tree, ya know. The oldest one of the acres. Me and your grand aunt had used those shadows for our first encounter. It's very romantic and isolated, Grad Uncle Golden added with a nod. And don't forget the storage room. I still remember the thrill and fear of getting discovered with my at the time cult friend. Oh. How many memories, Aunt Delicious said with a dreamy expression. What's wrong with every pony? Applejack yelled in disbelief. Ya can lie all ya want, but the rest of the family seems to at least accept him. Bloom too likes the boy. Granny Smith answered. Oh, Celestia, AJ said in despair as laughs erupted around her. Go for it, girl. Never waste an opportunity, Grand Uncle Golden said, nudging her towards Maelstrom general direction. I don't like him, right? AJ muttered. Your heart will be honest, just listen to that, Granny Smith answered with a gentle smile. Okay. Good. I can't wait to see some little AJs trot around bucking trees. The old mare said happily. Granny, Applejack yelled with a red face. Kya. A sudden scream silenced every noise, though, as a young filly could be seen run away from some wolf-like creatures made of wood. Timberwolves. Take the kids to safety. A voice yelled as the adults rapidly moved to cover the young colts and fillies to give them time to escape. Need some help? Maelstrom asked with narrowed eyes. Yep. Those are weak, just a rock and they fell to pieces, but they can still hurt with that bite, Big Mac answered. Got it. The stallion answered as he opened his wings wide to sprint forward, head-butting several timberwolves and turning them to splinters. I will help the kids to reach inside, Fluttershy offered. Good, keep 'em safe, please. Big Mac answered, grateful. Applejack. Maelstrom yelled as he joined the girl just in time to see her use her back legs to kick a near creature, making its lupine head shot high in the sky. They will return, magic makes them regenerate, AJ said. At least I won't have them on my conscience, he answered, smirking. AJ, help! Bloom yelled in fear as she ran away from a couple of timberwolves chasing her with evident hunger shining in their eyes. Bloom! AJ yelled in horror at seeing the young filly trip in her run. She was just too far for her to help even by running at her top speed. Kya! The young girl yelled in fear as she saw the timberwolves pounce on her before closing her eyes to not see. The sound that followed was of fangs piercing flesh and then a grunting sounding more of annoyance than of pain coming from above her tiny head. What? Boss? Bloom yelled with wide eyes at seeing the towering form of the Alicorn Prince standing in front of her with a gentle smile. You okay? He asked her in concern while ignoring the fact that he had a duo of timberwolves biting down on his wings and the third one latched to his neck, all three trying to clearly tear off flesh from bones. Wah wah. Give me a second, okay? He asked, still smiling, before lifting his wings high to shake off the dog-like creatures and throw them far away. You done? I have things to do. The stallion then said, pushing away the last remaining attacker, making it stumble back. Uru! The timberwolf whined in surprise. No, I don't care. Rasengan. Maelstrom answered, turning the thing into fine dust thanks to the spiraling sphere on the tip of his horn. Heal that bastard, he then said, smirking. Bloom, are you okay? AJ asked as she finally neared the filly with a worried expression. I am okay, but, Bloom answered while pointing at Maelstrom. Meh, I got paper cuts that hurt more. This got nothing on Nagato's Shinra Tensai, or Sasuke's Indra's arrow technique, don't worry. He answered with a reassuring smile. But you are bleeding, you should go inside, it's too dangerous. Applejack said, worried. You are defending your family and I am going to help ya. You may be all I am, a strong independent mare, and I don't need no stallion, but I won't let some pony get hurt and do nothing, so make room because I am going to help. The Alicorn answered. Go inside, Bloom. Big Mac and the others will protect ya, I won't stand by either, Applejack said in determination, trying to not look at the deep wounds on the stallion near her. Oh okay, please pay attention, Bloom answered, nodding before running away as fast as she could. Are you sure? AJ asked. TCH. You want to protect your family and I want to help you do just that. I'll just need a little nap once done to heal, don't worry. Maelstrom answered, smirking. Then show me how hard ya can buck those sticks, she yelled before charging forward. A strong spirit if I ever saw one, Maelstrom said before joining her. Between her and the rest of the Apple family pushing back the dozen or so Timberwolves got finally pushed back, almost every pony present got covered in bite marks or other superficial bruises, making of the Alicorn Prince the only one that sustained any serious wound in his reckless shielding of Bloom. Not that AJ minded, since at least it helped saving her little sister. I'll go call a medic for those bites, they look nasty, Big Mac said as he trotted outside. I am coming with you, AJ said as she followed him, not before a last hug to the Alicorn followed by an heartfelt, thank you, on her side. Hoy, there is no need for that. I just need a nap to recover, really. Maelstrom tried saying to the retreating duo before sighing in defeat. Let them do their thing so they will calm down. In the meantime I'll deal with the healing. There was magic in the bites too, so it kind of resisted my powers, but now I think I got how to work around it, so go sleep somewhere and let me work my art, Kurama said while looking over the wounds on the stallion's body from inside the seal with a calculative gaze. Do you need any help? Fluttershy asked, concerned. It's okay, I just need a place to relax, he answered, smiling. You sure? Thanks to Kurama, I possess a rather good healing factor. Ever since I became an Alicorn, the two received a very nice boost, so I just need to rest and my body will heal by itself rapidly, Maelstrom answered. I'll still watch over you in case of need, you can't just dismiss that because you heal fast, Fluttershy replied with narrowed eyes. Sigh. I give up, you others can do whatever you want, I admit defeat. He answered, sighing before collapsing on a pile of hay to fall rapidly asleep. Poor dear, sure he moves around a lot when he sleeps though. Fluttershy muttered in surprise at seeing the stallion toss around mumbling in his sleep. Unknown to her, inside Maelstrom's head a rather nice dream was being played, and as usual a certain rainbow-maned mare was the sole protagonist of it, both he and Dash chasing each other between clouds with her giggles ringing musically in his ears until he finally pounced on her, tackling her on a near cloud to nuzzle in her neck. He heard her moan as he covered her neck in small kisses just the way he knew she liked. In the real world though, the wildly trashing Alicorn managed to pounce, still sleeping, on the near Fluttershy, pulling her with him on the pile of hay, and somehow without waking up with the surprised yelp the shy mare had left out an answer. What do I do now? If I move he will wake up and think I tried to snuggle close to him while he was defenseless. Help! Fluttershy yelled mentally while the Alicorn kept hugging her, stopping her mental whining once he started kissing her neck, making her mewl in surprise. Z's. Cute. Z's. Like, soft. He grumbled in his sleep before latching to her ear to gently nibble it. Oh, ooh, she muttered with a very red face at feeling a pleasurable warmth spread all over her from his hug and, for her standards, strange way of kissing. She moaned as he started licking the right spot on her neck, making her subconsciously snuggle closer to him and kissing his forehead without thinking. His hugs did feel nice, she decided. We're here. We got a doctor, AJ yelled from outside, startling Fluttershy back into reality. Eep. With an high-pitched scream the shy Pegasus disentangled herself from Maelstrom in order to return to her position near him, waking up the stallion. What happened? He asked with half-lidded eyes. Nothing happened. You were just sleeping, Fluttershy replied while trembling in complete embarrassment in a corner, face redder than ever while she looked down. Here I am, let me see those wounds, the medic-dressed Pegasus said with a professional tone as she neared Maelstrom with a bag strapped to her back. As I was trying to say, I have an healing factor. The wounds are already coasing by themselves. Why no one ever listened to what I say? Maelstrom answered with a whine while showing the already fading away signs on his neck and wings. Really? Fascinating. Mind if I study the results? Please, the doctor asked. Sigh. If you have to, he muttered, defeated. You okay, Fluttershy? AJ asked, curious while ignoring the enthusiast doctor as she analyzed the Alicorn Prince's healing powers. Me. I am fine. I am just a bit overwhelmed, that's all. The other answered, nodding rapidly. Ya can go home, if ya want. We'll take good care of him, Big Mac said, smiling. And you won't like being around. As soon as Princess Luna will hear about Maelstrom getting hurt, she will go nightmare on this, AJ added. And no. It's okay, I'll stay just in case he needs help, Fluttershy answered. Quote. If you have to. AJ answered, unsure as to why she felt uneasy at hearing her wishing to stay, or at seeing the doctor probing around on the stallion's body. Someone's jealous. Big Mac asked with a whisper. Maaaaaaaaaaaac. A blushing AJ yelled, bucking the big earth pony all the way outside with a single kick of hers and making him reach low orbit thanks to the power of feminine fury TM empowering her outburst. The bad feeling is getting stronger. I am starting to wish to be out of the seal now. This won't end well, not even in the slightest, Kurama thought as he retreated even deeper in the seal just to be safe from whatever mess was about to crash on him and his vessel. Omake 1 Big Mac's restless nights. Applejack's room, Monday. AJ was trashing around her bed with a grimace as another dream plagued her night, and just like the others, a certain blonde stallion was the cause of it. Or to be precise, her brother Big Mac was responsible for putting ideas about Maelstrom in her head and Rarity for giving her those romance novels for her birthday, not that she had read any of them, of course. Certainly not. No sir. Okay, maybe a page or two. Dream. AJ was calmly bucking trees when the Alicorn Prince walked closer to her with purpose-filled steps and a determined expression. Applejack? He asked. Yes, she answered before going wide-eyed as he kissed her hungrily. I love you, please marry me. The blonde stallion had asked immediately after the kiss ended. After that, for some reason, the scene switched to the two of them going at it savagely behind a stack of hay, with her yelling the most obscene things ever heard in all Equestria as he had his twisted way with her. Real world, Mac's bedroom. Mac's sleep went disturbed when the door of his room exploded into shreds and AJ walked inside with dark bags under her eyes and pure hatred shining on her face. Why yes, he asked, trembling. Maaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaac. She yelled as a sort of war cry before pouncing on him to deliver a gruesome beating that would have even a sadistic torturer puke in disgust. Mac's bedroom, Tuesday. The bandaged Mac was cautiously sleeping in the ruins of his old bed before the new door once again went demolished. AJ had dreamed of her and Maelstrom mating furiously in front of the whole Apple family, with the others watching, cheering for her as she rode the Alicorn savagely. Maaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaac. She yelled her war cry before pouncing again on Mac to deliver a new and more gruesome beating as a punishment for his constant teasing. Mac's bedroom, Wednesday. The even more bandaged Mac was cautiously sleeping on the mass of splinters that used to be his old bed before the third door went demolished. AJ had dreamed of her and Maelstrom having wild intercourses under a tree, with him slamming her against the bark with enough strength to have apples fall down around them. Maaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaac. She yelled her war cry before pouncing again on Mac to deliver a new and even more gruesome beating as a punishment for his making her dream about the Alicorn. Mac's bedroom, Thursday. The now terrorized Mac was literally sleeping on the floor since there wasn't enough matter to define where he was lying his bed anymore before yet another door, this one in reinforced steel, went demolished again. AJ had dreamed of her and Maelstrom having drunk monkey sex on the counter of Sugarcube Corner after an eventful foreplay with chocolate and whipped cream. Maaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaac. She yelled her war cry before pouncing again on Mac. Mac's bedroom, Friday. Crash. Maaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaac. AJ had dreamed about her, Maelstrom, and a huge assortment of whips and blindfolds. Mac's bedroom, Saturday. Crash. Maaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaac. AJ had dreamed about her, Maelstrom, and he using his shadow clones to fuck her into oblivion. Mac's bedroom, Sunday. Crash. Maaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaaac. By now Mac was too busy crying and AJ too angry to understand what she had dreamed this time, so he just closed his eyes and waited for the beating to finish. Ponyville, Library, Monday. Please, repeat, I don't think I understand. What do you want from me? Maelstrom asked while massaging his temples with both hooves. Please go out with ma sister. I can't do this. Every night she is angry because she dreams about you and hits me because she says it's my fault. And I can't sit properly anymohoohore. Please, I beg you. Big Mac howled between tears as he threw his heavily bandaged, heavily bruised and mangled body on the ground to kiss the prince's rear hooves. Oh, okay, Maelstrom said uncertain. Crash. Ma AC. AJ yelled as she demolished the door of the library to enter. Kya. With a girlish scream worthy of a 5-year-old kid, the earth pony dove through a near window to escape the mare's wrath. Hoi, AJ, Maelstrom said rapidly. Yes, the girl asked. I was going to have a walk, mind joining me? He said with a nervous smile. Like a date, Applejack said surprised. Well, yes, the alicorn said while watching Dash behind AJ nod encouragingly to him with a scared expression herself. Oh, okay. AJ answered with a wide smile. Perfect. In 10 minutes in front of Sugarcube Corner then. I'll offer you something before the walk, he said. Okay, I'll be there. AJ answered, nodding eagerly while watching him rapidly walk away. Outside the library. Sigh. I did it. I am safe now. Hee. I am safe. Safe. Big Mac muttered from his hiding spot with a broken giggle and twitching eyes. You told him about my dreams, don't you? A venom-coated voice hissed from behind him. No. No. Please Celestia, no. Big Mac muttered, whimpering. Ma AC. No. Omake 2 always the shy ones, aka, Fluttershy 2 has her mind in the gutter, Shite Mile erased scene. Fluttershy and Maelstrom were calmly walking towards where Applejack lived, the shy mare silently contemplating the fact that maybe the stallion with her was developing feelings for her, oblivious that he was already in a relationship that he had sworn to keep secret. The problem was that a small, traitorous part of her didn't seem to mind the idea of him courting her. This was so wrong, especially since he was a prince, and Luna's son. What if his mother was contrary to the thing? Would the princess banish her on the moon? And if she was completely wrong instead? It would be so shameful to ask him about it and have Maelstrom answer that it was all in Fluttershy's head instead. Ooh, the shame if that was true, but even then, should he really feel something, why her then? She was not strong, or sure of herself or particularly smart or... What should I do? I am out here all alone with him and he likes me. What if he decides to take me, force me to lay in the grass and then make me feel his breath on my neck as his throbbing stallion hood rubs against my folds? She thought while stealing glances at his strong-looking legs and powerful muscles. What if he wants to mount me right here and then tells me that he won't stop until he makes me carry his little fillies? Oh my. Oh my. Oh my. Oh my. Oh my. Oh my. She wasn't exactly shy because of issues of self-esteem, more likely because by always living surrounded by animals she had seen a rather wide array of mating ever since she started, and all that natural smut did take its toll on her mind after years of exposure. Maybe he will force me to call him master, even. And then have his way with me in front of every pony and parade me around as his possession and humiliate me and pretend me to scream to all Equestria how much I like taking inside his huge Tershi. Fluttershy, can you hear me? The blonde stallion asked in worry, his voice finally cutting through the chaos in her head. I give up. You can take me, you beast. I am yours. Finally unable to hold back any more, Fluttershy totally snapped, and with a face completely red in shame she dropped down on the grass and moved her tail to the side to show her most private parts. After few seconds of silence she dared to look back, all to see Maelstrom look at her with wide eyes and around them her animal friends all watching her shocked. Only Angel Bunny was different as the animal was going through all the motions indicating a stroke as the bunny collapsed on the floor with an horrified expression frozen on its face. Kya. Seeing the overall dead silence surrounding her had her realize that she had basically invited with a lust-filled scream Maelstrom to mount her in front of every pony. That in turn resulted in the mare screaming of absolute shame before running away to hide under the covers of her bed. I have to wonder, where the fuck was all this luck with women back when I was Naruto, in the elemental nations? The alicorn muttered while walking mechanically towards the apple family place. Maybe it got locked away like you're being a pony. Kurama answered uncertain, he too shocked by the shy girl's outburst. But in hindsight they should have known, it was always the shy ones, and she was literally called shy, after all.